Draymond Green won't play tonight against the Suns. Curry getting a night off to rest. Draymond continues to recover from a sprained ankle.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, and an app that lets you bank anytime, anywhere, choosing Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
How are we doing, everybody? Happy Thursday. Almost to that weekend. Shout out to Mother Nature for opening up those clear blue skies. A little more of that Jacksonville weather we've grown accustomed to. No rain. I appreciate it. And with the opening of the skies, well, we're getting closer and closer and closer to pro days. The NFL draft is right around the corner.
Can you feel it?
Starting to, the reason why
right out of reach there, just right at the fingertips.
No, without a doubt. But the reason why you sense it cranking up just a little bit now, because we are starting to get more and more NFL news from Adam Schefter and company. Now, let's be honest. The big story still is the quarterback carousel, more specifically Deshaun Watson. Jalen Ramsey goes on this podcast, Huddle and Flow, and basically says, we have the same agent. I don't see Deshaun Watson suiting up in a Texans uniform ever again. And in this circumstance, like I've talked about before on this show, it's going to come down to who's going to bluff first. I've been very adamant in saying that I can't foresee Deshaun Watson suiting up for the Houston Texans ever again. I think that if he's going to sit out, he's going to sit out. If that means sacrificing 25, 30, whatever $million just to prove a point, that's how NFL players roll, man. Well, that's how most NFL players roll, I should say.
Weird flex, weird tensions in Houston right now, man, between Watson and our boy coming back last night and
James
the
Harden.
jersey.
Yeah, if you're a Houston fan in any sport, I'm sorry. You guys had your fun in the sun a little bit, right? Because the Rockets were always kind of a contender, to say the least, in the West. Now, they never really made the finals or knocked the doors off or anything, but the Rockets were always up in their contention in the West, and now you got guys like John Wall, you got Oladipo, but let's be honest, they're on a pretty big losing skid right now in the Houston Rockets. And then the Houston Texans, you trade away one of the best wide receivers in the NFL in DeAndre Hopkins. J.J. Watt, the golden boy, on the Mount Rushmore of Houston Texans. He's now gone to the Cardinals as well. And Deshaun Watson's kind of like that last piece. Maybe you got Brandon Cooks. Maybe you got David Johnson. But let's be honest. They're not Hopkins. They're not Watt. So, yeah, it's been blow after blow for the Houston Texans sports franchises. And the final domino could be Deshaun Watson and what he chooses to do. And I've been adamant about this. This guy, depending on how the CBA rules and depending on what the Player Association says, if COVID-19 is a thing this up-and-coming NFL season, I wouldn't be shocked if Deshaun Watson chooses to opt out and says, you know what? You guys don't want to trade me? You want to put me all in? Well, I'm not going to pay you guys a dime. I'm going to opt out this year. I'm worried about COVID-19. Have fun trying to find my replacement with no draft capital. Have fun with that. And then I'll see you guys next season, and maybe we'll do it all again. Like, that's Deshaun Watson putting the Houston Texans all in. And I'll be honest right now. If you're the Houston Texans and the management, if we're playing Hold'em right now, in my opinion, Deshaun Watson, ace king. Houston Texans, you're looking at maybe a deuce 8, deuce 7, nothing really good. So if you want to call him, go ahead and call him. But I think if you're the Houston Texans, you're not going to like how it turns out.
You always think this way when it comes to players, but we just haven't seen it yet outside of Le'Veon Bell, really, where he sits out the year. And just think it's a hard thing for players to do. I mean, players like to play, and players only have so many years. And I think, while I believe this is going to end with Watson getting out of there, and so Jalen Ramsey saying, hey, I don't think he's ever going to put the uniform on again, maybe that's the case. Ramsey was willing to go to great lengths, got his way in a few weeks after the Jags got their way with a pretty handsome return. I think this is smart of Houston to, first of all, feel like you want him still, or publicly say that, and maybe keep the price going up for him, Once you say that, hey, okay, we're going to try to trade him, well, the price goes down because now people know. And so it's a little less obvious. Behind the scenes, you might be getting more and more value because you're saying, well, we don't want to get rid of him. We don't want to get rid of him. So everybody's kind of curious how this is going to play out. But I think it's smart of Houston now because you don't want an unhappy player. And you can reset your organization. And quite frankly, they screwed up their organization so much they should reset it. Cap-wise, they're over. Draft picks, they don't have enough. They could still land a quality and very good quarterback, franchise quarterback. Not too many teams get the opportunity to do that in a situation like this. Jags lost who I think one of the best players that they would ever have in their history of their team, but they didn't get a quarterback out of it, Yeah. Houston could do that. Deshaun Watson, best quarterback to ever play for them, but they could go get another quarterback that maybe could be just as good. I think when it comes to the player, calling the bluff from the team is still something that I just don't know if we've seen play out enough. And maybe teams aren't willing to go there again because you don't want the unhappy guy, especially at that position. But I still think he would play. Like, if they called the bluff and they said, we're keeping you, he would play, in my opinion. He would be active playing football in the fall, unhappily, but he'd be doing it.
So you don't think that if they don't trade Deshaun Watson away, and Deshaun Watson has the ace in the hole and says, okay, if you're not going to trade me, then I'm going to opt out this year. Meaning, I don't have to owe you guys anything. My contract is frozen, and I'll see you next year. You mean to tell me you think Houston is going to risk that and just essentially waste a year, waste a lot of players' contracts like Brandon Cooks, like David Johnson, and just essentially throw away that season and then re-up the next season and see, all right, Deshaun Watson, welcome back. Oh, you still don't want to be here? Let's go through this whole thing again. Well, you think Houston's willing to do that?
Well, I don't think teams are willing to do that. That's why it doesn't usually get down the road. I don't think they're willing to absolutely call the bluff. But I also don't feel like Duke Johnson's contract and those kind of contracts are preventing it from happening. I think they're in an awful position. They're going to be terrible anyway. They're nowhere near ready to go win. They're in a reset position as it is in their organization. So really, of all years for your quarterback not to play, this one might not be the worst one to not have him.
So you're just going to throw away the season?
Well, if you want to call his bluff, this would be a great time to do it. Yeah. But I don't think he would opt out and not play. I really don't. And lose a year of his career, and you lose the potential to stack on numbers for Hall of Fame career and all those accolades. I think guys want to play.
I wholeheartedly disagree because we just had a conversation yesterday saying how if you take a year off, is it the worst thing? Now, Deshaun Watson's in his prime. He's a top 5 quarterback. But once again, we saw how desperate Jalen Ramsey was. And keep in mind, Jalen Ramsey didn't have the opt-out card he could pull and be like, all right, if you really...
Well, we don't know if the opt-out card is going to exist in 2021 either.
Well, once again, this conversation is going back to we assuming that it is going to exist. We assume that COVID-19 is still going to be a thing, which it very well could be. And if we assume that, I think that Deshaun Watson could bring that card out. I think he could bring that up in meetings, and he could say, if you guys are hell-bent on keeping me and not trading me away, then I'm going to opt out, and then I'll see you next year. We'll do the whole thing again.
Yeah, I just don't. Here's the end. This is where we've always kind of disagreed on this topic because in Ngakwe's situation, we thought it could get to that point as well, right? And it could be a stalemate to the point, okay, you're going to play or not. Well, I still believe to this day that he would have played. Like, I think he would have played. It would have been in his best interest to play from a financial standpoint. It would have been in his best interest to play from a career standpoint to go get numbers and then go get the big contract maybe once they traded you away. Now, I also had said back then, I don't want to be hypocritical here, but I believe this is what I said, that I think he might get moved by the deadline. So he'd start the year and then get moved by the deadline. See, that's another interesting part of it, even for Houston and Watson. They could get all the way to September, kind of figure things out, see if things can get healed, see where exactly each side stands, who's calling whose bluff. And then if it's still not working out, you have the trade deadline to potentially do something. What happens in that situation, in my opinion, though, is the team loses a lot of leverage. Because once you get to that trade deadline, well, people know you want to deal them. And so you lose a lot of the power and leverage. Now, I say that, and Ramsey, the Jags still got pretty handsome return for him, early in the season, mid-season in the NFL. I just don't know, outside of Bell, have we seen another instance, and especially of a high-profile guy sit and running back actually does benefit. Kind of goes to the Gronk conversation, right? Yep. I mean, you can get healthy. I just feel like the quarterback situation in most positions are going to be different. And we just haven't seen to the point where a player says, I want out, an organization calls the bluff, and what then happens? Because usually, what we say, the player usually wins and they end up trading them away, and then you restart it. And I do think that's what's going to happen here. I think what happens is he ends up leaving. I don't disagree with Ramsey. I don't think he does play for Houston. I think he's done. I think they're going to get a handsome return. What did I say?
Ramsey.
I said I don't disagree with Ramsey.
Ramsey, okay.
Ramsey says he's never going to put the uniform on again.
Sure.
And I don't disagree with him.
But didn't Shad Khan call Ramsey's bluff?
I think Shad did call Ramsey's bluff.
And what happened?
Bit. Well, 5 days later, he was traded.
Well, Ramsey got what he wanted. That's an idea right there of calling somebody's bluff and saying, okay, like, I think you're going to play, and Ramsey didn't. Like, that's a classic example right there of a team trying to push a player all in and putting the pressure on Ramsey. If you think that Shad Khan called his bluff and Ramsey got what he wanted.
And who's the bad guy in that situation?
I mean, Ramsey got what he wanted.
He got what he wanted, being the bad guy, yeah.
Yeah, you can call him the bad guy. You can call him the villain. You can call him whatever you want.
He's certainly the villain. He faked the back injury.
And at the end of the day, did the guy get what he wanted?
That's fine. So is Watson willing to do that?
Sure.
How do you know that, though? You don't. You don't know what the makeup of Watson is. This is like an agent play and a power play. You're telling me Watson seems nothing like Jalen Ramsey persona-wise.
Okay.
To me, again, I don't have no idea who he is. I'm just saying he'd have to pull something like that. I think.
So the guy that has said that he wants to be in on the GM conversations, the guy that has said that he wants to pick the head coach, the guy that has said that he is not, and he said this many times, will not play for the Houston Texans, will not play a rep. We think that's all just cannon fodder. We think that's all fake.
No, I think there's enough pent-up stuff that he wants out. But you have to hit another level to basically be like, all right, I'm never playing again. And if I have to tweak my back or whatever my back and risk some of that stuff, what people are going to think, that's a different level. Like, that's a different level of stuff now.
You don't think J.J. Watt walking him off the field saying, I'm sorry we wasted your year, like, you don't think that means something to Deshaun Watson? Like, you don't think that's snuck in the back of Deshaun Watson's head thinking, yeah, they really did waste my year. Oh, but it's all good, though, because guess who we got coming back? Well, J.J. Watt's gone. Who do we have on this roster right now? I can't win here. Jack Easterby is still here. Like, there's a lot of things right now, in my opinion, that are counting against Deshaun Watson wanting to play in Houston.
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree with you. He does not want to be in Houston.
Sure.
But I think saying that I'm not if they call his bluff and they don't trade him, there's a different level to get to say I'm sitting out the year. That's the argument. Like, he doesn't want to be in Houston. I get it. Like, there's no doubt about it. And I think his camp doesn't want him in Houston just as much. So I think they're dug in the sand. I don't think they're leaving that sand until the games start on Sundays in the fall. And then I will be the guy that will say here right now, if Houston does not trade him, that he will play in the fall. Like, he will play in the fall.
Sounds good.
And I felt that way about Yannick. I felt that eventually about Jalen, to be honest with you.
Sure.
Jalen, I think, eventually would have played. The Jags got what they needed in return, what they thought they was good enough to get him out of there. And listen, by that time, the teams want you out of there.
So is Ngakoue the bad guy?
No.
Because what did he do? He said he wanted to, like, they franchise tagged him. And then what did Ngakoue do? Said, I still don't want to be here. I'm putting up checkered flags. I'm seeing the deuces. Like, doesn't that make him the bad guy too?
Well, I don't think it is as to the level as Ramsey because of the way it went down. I mean, he didn't say, yeah, I got a bad ankle. I'm not going to go play it. We never got to that point with Ngakoue. But by the way, Ngakoue, by the end of it, we saw it turn, man. We talked about it for a year.
Of course.
This whole fan base, everybody that listened to the show was on Ngakoue's side. And then they turned on him. And they were like, all right, see you if you don't want to be here.
Yeah,
Deuces, but as you would say.
No, for sure. But, like, you're putting too much stake, in my opinion, about what players think about their, what the fans think about them. Like, do you think, let's be honest here. Let's be 100% real. Do you think Jalen Ramsey really cares about what Jaguars fans think about him when he's living in L.A. right now?
No, I think.
Do you think Yannick Ngakoue cares about what the fans around Jacksonville think about him in Baltimore?
No, but I think what they care. I think some players, care about what their peers think. And what their teammates think and guys in the locker room think. And especially from the quarterback position, I think that. Do you think that went over well with every teammate in that locker room that the back stuff with Ramsey?
No,
like they understand business, but do you think that went over well?
No, definitely not. It definitely did not do that.
So I think most guys care about that.
Sure, but then what do you think about J.J. Watt, who's been the heart and soul of that team, just says, you know what, you guys got to release me. I can't be here anymore. Do you think that rubbed the guys in the locker room the wrong way, or do you think they respect J.J. Watt so much where it's like, you're right, man, it's a mess right now. We can't win. Our front office is an absolute joke. Good luck to you. Have fun in Arizona. What do you think about that one?
I don't think they mind Watt's position. Honestly, man, I don't think they mind Watson's position. I think if they all could pull that right now and say, okay, I'm getting out of here because I don't like the situation, and that depends on each person's situation, but I think they would all they respect that. Now, ask me the same question in September when he doesn't suit up.
We'll see.
And I think players would feel differently. I think
disagree.
Players would feel, why aren't you here? Like, why aren't you doing that?
Man.
Now, if it's an opt-out COVID-wise, all those kind of things, that's going to get into a different category.
Yeah.
But if it's strictly, I just want out of here and I'm not playing, I think there are some guys that have a problem with that. Yeah, I do.
I absolutely disagree. I think, yes, winning a Super Bowl is the top priority, and every guy in that locker room wants to do that. But guys also understand the business. And you have a guy in Deshaun Watson who's been nothing but class, has been nothing but a leader for the Houston Texans. He isn't getting what he wants. He's made it perfectly clear that he wants out. I don't think any guy in that locker room would disagree with him and say, Deshaun, we get it, man.
I agree with that.
We're going to miss you. So if he has to do what he has to do, and I'm not going to say he's going to fake a back injury, but if he has to threaten the opt-out clause or whatever the case may be, I don't think a lot of those guys in that locker room are really going to be that disappointed if he chooses to do that. Because once again, you're talking about a guy who has earned his stripes. You're talking about a guy who is one of the faces of the Houston Texans, just like J.J. Watt. Now, J.J. Watt found a classy way to do it because he's on the back nine of his career. He said, can you guys release me? And they granted him that wish. Deshaun Watson's not in that option just because he's still in his prime. He plays the most important position. So it's a different kind of setup. But the end goal is still the same. Get out of Houston. I think players in that locker room would understand that.
Yeah, they might. They might. And Houston's situation is an interesting one because there's so much angst toward the front office. And really, for Cal McNair and Easterby, I don't even think you can put this on Caserio and the new guys. Cully, they didn't set the table for this. They're just the new guys on board. But I think once you start missing games and losing games, and maybe it would take a few weeks, but I think there are people in that locker room be like, all right, man, you're not winning right now. Can you help us win? I think they would go to that stage to do it. And honestly, I just don't think you might be talking about a week or so, or guys usually, I should say always, come back in. Very few people. Why do people eventually come back to camp or come back to whatever situation, even though they were holding out? Now, there's been more holdouts in the past. It doesn't seem to happen very much anymore. Yeah. But why? Because they want to play, and they don't want to lose the window to play. You have to be pretty darn stuck in the sand out of principle to not budge off making $39 million next year and playing the game that you love. Yeah. Like, that is one hell of a hill to stand on. And it's a great hill to stand on in the offseason. It's a great hill to stand on through the summer. Mm-hmm. It's a great hill to stand on even in training camp if you're a veteran quarterback. It's a harder hill to stand on, in my opinion, if it's a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock and you're supposed to be playing the New York Giants.
I mean, what it comes down to me, it's business over the team. And obviously, they're very comparable. Sometimes business wins. I'm reminded of Brett Favre back the day, who would not show up to training camp. Yeah. Nobody knew, is Brett Favre going to play this year or not? Like, he wouldn't give them any kind of heads up. But I never heard his teammates complain, at least to the cameras. I never heard his teammates be frustrated because you know why? When Brett Favre did show up, they were cool with it. And at the fact that he wasn't going to show up, they have to move on. Like, that's what business is sometimes. And I think every guy in that Houston Texans locker room understands the business part.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And I honestly, I don't think he's going to be there. I don't. And again, I'll say this loud and clear. You can feel like you lost if you're Houston if you get rid of Watson. Mm-hmm. I think you're actually winning. I think you're winning. And what I'm not telling you that getting rid of Watson's the best win of all. Mm-hmm. It's everything else. In this situation where you're kind of stuck and it's ugly and you've already had months and months of bad press and your organization's kind of a mess and you don't have a lot of believers internally probably or externally, even in your own town, I think getting away from this, kind of like the Jags did get away from Ramsey and maybe even Ngakoue, makes you turn the page. But what it does for Houston is it might save them in the interim because they're not on the hook for a $39 million contract at quarterback. They get to reset the quarterback position most likely if they trade, say, with the Jets or somebody like that. That's going to give them a pick where they can go get a young guy. And they clean up their cap space a little bit, and they also will probably get some draft capital in return to replenish what is missing. Because right now, whether Watson's there or not, they still stink. Like, they're not getting better immediately, not better the way they want to be, because they have no capital, and they're really against the cap in a lot of ways, too. So I think this helps them if they would just find a dance partner by the time maybe free agency starts, and they could actually get better faster without Watson.
Yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that trying to salvage Watson and hang on to Watson is the bad play right now, because you have new management, you have a new coaching staff, you have to build a new culture, and the last thing you want to do when you're doing all those things is the fact that you don't want a guy from the old regime that's going to sit here and say, well, I don't want to be here. That I'm going to be, I don't call Deshaun Watson a nuisance, but I'm going to make things very uncomfortable in that locker room. If you're trying to turn over a new leaf, you must cut the past behind you. And Deshaun Watson, he's part of the past. So you might as well get as much as you can for him and draft capital or other players, move on, start anew, and start, trying to play winning football again.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, let's take a time out. We come back. We talk a little bit more about Big Ben Roethlisberger. A totally different scenario in Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. Guy takes a pay cut.
Yep.
Now he realizes he doesn't have as many bullets as he once had.
Yeah.
And what does that mean for Pittsburgh? What does the Ben Roethlisberger move mean overall? We got that. We got a 10-time state champion on the way as well. We'll give you some updates on high school basketball and soccer. FSU hoops with a big win again last night. UNF basketball delayed because of testing in the ASUN, but they're now underway. We got a lot going on a Thursday afternoon, 1 week away from the Players' Championship. It's all coming up on Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A nice day today with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures this afternoon will reach the lower 70s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30 Action News Jax. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra special, too. It was like that at Fields Cadillac Jacksonville, and it will be like that at any of the Fields locations in Jacksonville. Cadillac, of course, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche as well. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. We are now part of that Fields Amenities program, and my wife tried the loaner program. It was easy and a nice added benefit. So whatever you're driving, see Fields and step up to luxury for less. Check out their locations all around Jacksonville, just like we did. You can go visit fieldsauto.com. We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill St. Augustine is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy eggs, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient breakfasty goodness. Get ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
Join the movement to end colon cancer. March to Get Screened is celebrating its 12th year supporting colon cancer awareness and life-saving screenings. Held on March 28th, March to Get Screened is a family affair including a 5K race, a 1-mile fun run, and fun activities for all. Safety measures will be in place as well as virtual participation options. All proceeds benefit the nonprofit Borland Groover Foundation. Register today, donate, or for more information, head to marchtoGetScreened.com. That's marchtoGetScreened.com.
Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. At only 240 calories and 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces, this crave-controlling meal smoothie has non-GMO whole fruits, naturally derived caffeine, and absolutely no syrups. Or try strawberry pineapple or mango ginger. Start your healthier habit and order online at smoothieking.com. Now for pickup or delivery at any of the Jacksonville area locations. Smoothie King, rule the day.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Children who've been abused, neglected, or have serious emotional issues need a comforting place to heal. Daniel offers them residential treatment with intensive therapy, but needs your help in furnishing one of the children's cottages. Please help Daniel raise $150,000 in 150 days to furnish their future. Every new bed or dresser helps create an environment of hope and healing for local kids in crisis. Donate at danielkids.org.
I'm Marcus Roberts, a jazz pianist and a proud graduate of the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind, a state public school available at no cost to eligible K-12 Florida students who are deaf, blind, or both. FSDB prepares students for a lifetime of success, allowing them to do more, be more, and achieve more. For more information, call 800-342-3732 or visit www.fsdbk12.org.
Max. I can't wake up and say, you know what, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. That's not where I am right where I want to be.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
Brent Martineau.
Well, listen, if we wanted to just bump WWE by like a half hour or a few minutes, we should have just rolled your highlight tape.
Austin Lane.
Oh, and there it is. And now Brent's playing ball. All of a sudden, Chapman throwing some high heat at me. Watch out for that suspension, Brent. Real quick, though.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Thanks for checking us out in your car on the stream, ESPN690.com. By the way, while you're there, you can purchase the Dream 18 card on ESPN690.com, and you can vote for our Athlete of the Week. And our Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Honda The Avenues, Debo Coleman is one of the nominees, West Nassau basketball player. Unbelievable career, second all-time scorer in the area. And he helped lead West Nassau to the state championship, state Final Four, game today. And they lost like on a buzzer beater. 64-63, I think was the final. But what an effort. Good game. They were down, I think, at one time by 15 points. I saw the folks covering the game, I think, said they went on a 24-2 run and just came up short. So congrats on a big season, and what a career for Debo Coleman as well for West Nassau. Big basketball season for them. We'll talk a little soccer coming up as well, because 4 o'clock St. John's Country Day. Boys will go for a state title. The girls just won 10 in a row. Mike Pickett's going to join us in just a couple minutes. He's down actually at the boys game too, so he's going to talk about 10 in a row with us here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Smoothie King is our restaurant of the day. Good to have them aboard, of course. Smoothie King with all their locations, 9 of them in Jacksonville, 2 in St. Augustine. Go check out your area Smoothie King. We'll have a couple giveaways on the day. 1 week away from the Players' Championship now. We'll be live at the Players. You're about 10 days away, I guess 9 days, however we want to count them, from the fight.
Yep.
You pushed that out there on Twitter today?
I did.
What was the motivation? I got to read it now.
Oh, yeah, hit it. Yeah.
Do you remember what you said?
Yeah. Something along the lines of the work has been put in.
Price has been paid.
Price has been
paid. The work
paid.
has been done.
Yeah, there
now
it is.
the strings must be cut.
Strings must be cut.
Where did you come up with that?
My brain.
That's just what you were feeling.
Well, no. So, when I talk about the fight game and I make it a fight announcement, I've had the habit to say cut the strings. And that all stemmed from, man, this was like my second or third amateur fight. And my coach, who at the time is still my coach today, he asked me, so what do you get out of fighting? Like, why, because I enjoy it. I absolutely love it. It's an obsession of mine. And he said, how does it compare to playing football? And the way I summed it up basically was when I walk in the cage, whether it's in front of 100 people in a honky tonk or it's in Las Vegas at the UFC Performance Center, it's ultimate freedom. There's a certain smell that you can associate with it. There's a certain just feeling, because when you hear that cage lock, it's like, all right, it's on now. It's like all that work that I put in, it's for freedom for sure. So yes, I mean, it's there's the physicality of it. There's the mental chess match going on. But through all that stuff, there's 100% untapped freedom. And that's what I love about it. So then he kind of said, well, do you felt like sometimes that you felt like a puppet in the NFL? And I said, yeah, I kind of did, because you have to be here at a certain time. You got to do things a certain way. You have to dress a certain way. You have to answer questions sometimes in a certain way. And with MMA, you don't have a lot of that. So he kind of got it, he came up with, well, it's kind of like you're a puppet and you're cutting the strings. I'm like, I like that.
That's good.
So that's where cut the strings comes from.
That's deep, man. I like it.
There you go, man.
I like that stuff. That is good. By the way, Steph, I don't know if Cody's very supportive of you, right?
My wife, sure.
And I'm sure Ronan is too. And go dad.
Yeah.
And I am too, just for the record.
I appreciate
okay?
you. Yeah.
In fact, I've kind of just vicariously living through you getting in better shape the last 2 months just for this fight.
Cool.
I just feel like if I'm in better shape, then you'll be in better shape and you'll be victorious.
Like it, man.
So,
but it is contagious.
But Steph saw me retweet this.
Okay.
What you did today, and she said, I was sitting there doing some work at the table, and she just looks up, she's like, wait, he's fighting again? She doesn't want, she saw a couple of the fights, and she's just like, I don't really want him doing that anymore.
Sounded like a very concerned parent almost. No, I appreciate it, Steph. Well, and it's funny too, because there's a couple people that had no idea that I was getting ready to fight again. Because I'll be honest, I don't post a lot of sparring videos or fight videos just because.
I mean, I'll be your hype man if you want.
No, I appreciate it, and you know what? In retrospect, I probably should, but I just feel like, man, I train every single day. It is life to me, and I don't need to, in my opinion, I don't need to post it every single day. If you trust me, then that I'm training my butt off for this fight, and you should expect me to win. So I don't post it every single day, but it's always funny to see people saying, wait, you're still fighting? I'm like,
still fighting.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely.
But, it's an interesting, I kind of like the cat and mouse, almost like the secrecy. You wouldn't want any opponent that you're going to have even to see you training. Well, I kind of like that. It's almost like this mental frame mind. I wonder what he's doing.
Without a doubt, because you take any edge that you can get from your coaches and your fighters as well. And it's funny, Brent. It's funny that you bring this up, because nowadays, we know how the next generation is. They love their social media, TikToks, Instagram. So a lot of these younger fighters, and I train with some of them, they post everything. They'll post the sparring
brand,
videos.
so I can see it.
It is part of the brand without a doubt. But I guess I'm a little more old school when it comes to that, where it's like, I'll show you what I'm going to do in the cage when I fight. You know? And until that time, it's going to be secret.
Yeah, something in the secrecy of it all.
Yeah. Why tip them off with your moves and stuff in advance? Without a doubt. Oh, look, he moves like this. Oh, look, he's got these kinds of balance things going on. He does these kinds of leads.
Absolutely.
Sure. Let me go ahead and telegraph all of that to you now. There you go.
For sure.
That's a mentality, a little bit of that secrecy. I mean, we know the competition does that all the time. They're wondering what we're doing.
Yeah.
I would too if I were them.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Big Ben Roethlisberger takes a pay cut.
Yeah.
A handful of $1 million. I mean, they would throw around millions of dollars like it's nothing, but it basically goes from 19 to 14. Poor Ben, he's really taking a pay cut. He's making $14 million or something.
It's like, his 30th year in the NFL? I think he's going to be okay.
Bottom line for me is what we've talked about Roethlisberger. I think I don't like to use the term washed. I'm not saying he's done. Yeah. I don't think he's like Peyton Manning at the end of it. He was on the strength of this defense and some other players, and it wasn't really him. That's the reality of it. He was done. Tom Brady has proven he's not done. I didn't think Phillip Rivers was done. If Phillip Rivers came back, he might have a little bit left. Now, it was dwindling, and it was not as good as it once was, but he's got something left. I think Roethlisberger has something left.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about making another run, I just don't know if Pittsburgh as a team is ready to do that anymore, and I don't really know if Ben's the guy to get you over that mountain.
Yeah, so here's the thing about Pittsburgh. they showed flashes last year. Like they have a lot of things that you like out of a football team. They play a tough brand of physical defense. You like that. They have offensive weapons, right? I mean, Chase Claypool came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he's like the next big thing. Yep. Now, Smith-Schuster, free agent. You're going to lose him, but I honestly don't think they're going to lose that much because they got Deontay Johnson as well. Like, both those guys in Claypool and Johnson had big years. You have a couple young guys with guys like, TJ Watt, who's playing at, one of the best levels in the NFL right now. So there's a lot of things to like. But if you remember last year how Big Ben kind of played, I mean, it was up and it was down. But when it was down, it was horrible. Yeah. Right? When you're passing 50 times a game
he can look
and you
old.
Can't get it done, he can look old. And this kind of begs the question a little bit. Like, I still think the roster top to bottom is one of the better ones in the NFL.
You do. You like it that much.
I think they're a playoff caliber team. I think they're well coached in Mike Tomlin. I have a lot of respect for him. There's a lot of things to like about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's be honest, Brent. I think that if you were to trade for somebody else this year at the quarterback position, you're right. Like maybe we say Carson Wentz, maybe you say Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, I'll be honest, and how I feel about Carson Wentz, but like I don't think Carson Wentz would come into Pittsburgh and play that much better than Big Ben. Right? I think when you don't have a run game, it's hard to have a throwing game. Yeah. And last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers struggled running the ball. So I like Ben Roethlisberger as the best option right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But with that being said, do you get the sense that they got to start planning in a new direction as well? Like I'm not sure about the draft or what may be, but like I feel like, yes, Big Ben's on the back nine of his career. Maybe he can will him to one more playoff run, maybe not. But you have the talent right now to go in the future, and I think can be successful. So you kind of have to I get you're playing in the now. Big Ben's back, fantastic, that's great. But what is the plan for the future? Because he can't do this forever.
Yeah, I get it. I have been searching for that person that you're looking for. Like, what are they better than? I don't think they can win with Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl. I just said on social media, and I believe this, I really think they're the third best team in their own division.
I mean,
and that doesn't even count the Bills, the Chiefs, Indianapolis, perhaps, any of those teams. They're the third best team in their division, in my opinion. And the other teams might be going up while they continue to maybe pull back a little bit. And so I just don't think this. I'm not trying to knock Roethlisberger. Unbelievable career. I just don't think he can do it anymore to the level of winning and winning big. And so if that's the case, why not say, okay, it's time to pivot? And why wouldn't you potentially look at something or somewhere? And there are a lot of options. Could have looked into potentially a Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Could have you looked into a Matthew Stafford at the time? Could you look into, now, do you try to go look into a Russell Wilson if there's really an opportunity? Does the phone ring in Seattle from Pittsburgh? I would say Jimmy Garoppolo would be on the table for me to consider. Okay, consider. I'd say even a Teddy Bridgewater be on the table for me to consider. They signed Dwayne Haskins. They have Joshua Dobbs. Those guys aren't going to be their future guys.
They also got that Mason Rudolph who's played for them before.
Is Rudolph still there with all the other guys still there?
I think he's still there as well, yes.
So, I don't know, man. I feel like this would have been this isn't the one more run at it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the time. I think that window has passed, and maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I think this would have been a good time to kind of pivot and at least give it a shot with somebody different. Like if they had brought in Wentz, for instance, I think that would be a reasonable swing. It might result in a swing and miss, but it's a reasonable swing. I think you could do the same if you did trade for Garoppolo, if that's an availability. And like I already mentioned the other guys, like I do believe even kicking tires on those kind of guys, young tires, to see if you can rejuvenate them, they can take the next step. Right now is probably better off than Ben Roethlisberger because you know what you wonder about Big Ben? You wonder if he's going to take a big step backwards. You don't wonder if he's taking a big step forward. He's played his best football.
You've seen the ceiling.
So you really wonder if it's about to go down. So I think it's a bit of a miscalculation. And maybe it's one of those deals between cap, between just respect for Ben, between the way their organization is built, that in the long term, what they're all about, they are a big loyalty organization. Like, I'm not sure you can find a more loyal organization.
Yeah.
I've had 3 coaches in the last 50 years. They are very loyal. And so maybe it fits them to stay with Ben. And he's kind enough to restructure and do all that, not be a problem at this time, and understands that, hey, I don't have my best football ahead of me. So maybe it's still the right move for them. But if we're strictly talking about trying to win and where their organization is going, I think now would have been the time to pivot. I think they're past the time to compete big and win big. And like I said, even in their own division, I think they're the third best team.
No, and you're not wrong with that.
Trending down.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, obviously, the Cleveland Browns right now could be the toast of that division.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, the Ravens.
I was going to say the Ravens as well. But
I'm not going to give Cincinnati enough love to be able to pass them, by the way.
But
they are trending up Cincinnati because they have a franchise QB.
Yeah. I'll be honest, though. I thought Roethlisberger was going to be on the fence a little more about coming back. Yeah. I thought he might, because once again, it's the way you went out, and it's what the product looked like on the field, and it wasn't good. Now, yes, your offensive line did you no favors in the run game, and it's complimentary football, yada, yada, but you just got the sense that Ben couldn't take over a game anymore. So we'll see. I still think he's one of the better options in the NFL. Like, I think Carson Wentz maybe could have been a little bit of an upgrade, but you take and roll with it. But once again, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, like let's say they finish 8-8, or let's say they finish 7-9. Okay, great, that's fine. But then, are we talking about Ben Roethlisberger come back another year? Are we talking about draft capital? Because now you're finishing in the middle of the NFL. Now all of a sudden you might miss the chance of that franchise quarterback in the draft. So you do yourself a disservice as well. So I'm curious to see if there's going to be a backup plan in place for Big Ben or not.
In the back of my mind, by the way, there's not too many quarterbacks who can throw 50 times and look good. Okay, it's hard to do that. You need some help. In the back of my mind, I can't get out the conversation that we had a couple months ago when we were talking about Hall of Fame. You're going to probably have Drew Brees retire. You got Phillip Rivers retiring. Does Ben, in his own little way, say, hey, I'll wait another year to get on that? I don't need to share it with those guys. I mean, you almost wonder. Now, I do think the motivation for Ben is also to say, hey, like you said, his last game, that was a miserable game for Pittsburgh, right, against Cleveland. Yeah. You don't want to end that way. But the bottom line is, let's be honest, most ways you end are going to be pretty ugly or pretty bad, or at least end in a loss. I just wonder in the back of my mind, I'm not going to, this is not like a full-blown, I really think this is why he's doing it. It isn't. I just wonder if, and we had the conversation, like, do you kind of pick out, hey, next year there's no other quarterbacks retiring. I'll be the head of that class, in 5 years from next year, while I'm sharing it with some legends and might even have a tough time being a first ballot guy. Yeah. I don't think that'd be the case, but you might ask yourself that. I don't know. I don't know if that comes into play. I don't think that comes into play for players, but in the back of my mind in this situation, you almost wonder, because it felt like, much like Brees and Rivers, Roethlisberger could have bid adieu this year and been all right.
Yeah, for sure. Get it. I mean, when you said it, like, very rarely at the quarterback position do you get to ride off on the sunset on top. Usually it's going to look bad towards the end. We'll see what happens this year. But, yeah, like you said, they're probably going to be the third-place team right now where they stand in the division. But who knows, man? Like, Mike Tomlin's a fantastic coach. You can't down him. Real quick, though, Brent, we're on the Steelers real fast. Other side of the ball. A little off topic, but I want to ask you this question. Tyson Alualu, playing nose tackle this year. New position, played some of the best football he's ever played.
Maybe his best year.
Free agent this year. If you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, 33 years old, do you even consider it? Or do you just say, yeah, he's 33 years old. He's been here before. We're good.
I want to be consistent. I really like Tyson, but I want to be consistent. I'm not a huge fan of the Trent Williams play because of the age. I think I'd probably lean the same way because of the age on Alualu. Now, keep in mind, Alualu would be a heck of a lot cheaper than a Trent Williams play.
Without a doubt.
So I wouldn't be against it. I could see some of the logic in it.
And also keep in mind, the reps will be a lot shorter for Tyson Alualu than Trent Williams, who's playing a majority of the game compared to Tyson, who's going to rotate in and out.
Here's the thing. The thing I don't get fully with, I had this conversation today with the 33-year-old. The Jags are not there yet. And so to bring in, I get bringing in veterans, but bringing in veterans that are long in the tooth and you might be getting their downside, like that big drop down, I think it's just risky business. Yeah. Now, if they bring in Trent Williams to solidify and help start Trevor Lawrence's career, I'm not going to complain about it. I just think Orlando Brown, and I might even argue keeping Cam Robinson is a better play for the Jaguars long-term and overall than bringing in Trent Williams right now.
No, I hear you. And I'm going to say about Tyson Alualu, remember who the defensive line coach, that helped draft him when he was there is Joe Cohen, and now he's a defensive coordinator.
That's a really good point.
Just saying.
Tyson! So really what you could ask is, does Tyson want to come back and play for Joe?
No, that's a great point. And by the way, Brent, can we make a deal right now? If for some reason the Jacksonville Jaguars do sign Tyson Alualu?
No Oklahoma drill.
when he gets off the plane, can we not shuttle him to the practice facility and get him an Oklahoma drill right away, please? I would appreciate that very much.
We love you, Jack, but
oh, man.
No Oklahoma drill. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690. Give you an update on some of the scores. UNF hoops in play at halftime. We got some soccer state championships. Give an update on the local scene next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp have announced that after delays, the beginning of their season will finally begin on May 4th at 1-1 Financial Ballpark. As you may know, this is their first season as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. In the NFL, former All-Pro linebacker Thomas Davis announced that he'll sign a one-day deal with the Panthers before retiring. Davis has been in the league for 16 years. He was released by Washington on Wednesday, and he wants to finish his career with the team that drafted him. In the fight game, the UFC has released two of its top names in their heavyweight division. Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem were both released from their contracts with fights remaining. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made his AEW wrestling debut last night. AEW is the wrestling promotion owned right here in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, Shaquille O'Neal didn't fare so well. He was put through a table. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
ESPN 690 is teaming up with the Players Championship to support military organizations in Northeast Florida. Join us Tuesday, March 9th for #MatchForMilitary, a day-long campaign to generate support and awareness for organizations like Greater Jacksonville Area USO, Wounded Warrior Project, and more. The players will match dollar for dollar all donations up to $250,000. For more info or to donate, head to theplayers.com/matchformilitary.
Hey, boss, check this out. You're never home alone and you're never away from home with Safe Touch.
What now? Never home alone. Now that one I get. It's because of the two-way communicator.
Yep. Any emergency and you're talking with the operator in seconds.
Right. Never home alone. Yeah, but what about this never away from home thing?
See, with Safe Touch's smart home automation, you can control your house from anywhere.
What, is it that smartphone thingy again?
Yeah, with the Safe Touch app, you can check your camera feeds, turn on the lights, drop the AC down, lock the doors. Boss, it's like you're there.
Never away from home. Never home alone, never away from home. This changes nothing. I still hate Safe Touch, and we still gotta stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. I need an aspirin.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now: Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Ready, set, go to Arlington Toyota today. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event starting now, which means it's your time to save on over 400 new Toyotas on the lot at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 Corolla LE or a new 2021 Camry LE. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $249 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/March for full details.
In Florida, it's not if the storms are coming, it's when the storms are coming. And that's why you need the Chief. Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, with a proven track record of keeping local families safe. Rain, heat, hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes. We get it all. Just more reasons why you need the Chief. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, backed by the First Alert Weather Team. Only on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jacks.
It is the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18, and make it your home course as well. The Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. It's family-owned and operated. Southampton is a fun course to play, and the Golf Club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. With its elite practice facilities and player-friendly golf course design, it'll be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. For information on the membership programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton, 904-287-PLAY. Again, it's 904-287-PLAY.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
PDQ is bringing the heat with a new spicy chicken sandwich topped with our new signature PDQ sauce. Theirs might be good, but ours is just made better. Also try PDQ's new spicy nuggets for a limited time only at PDQ.
Hi, this is your 2015 Players Champion, Ricky Fowler. Alongside one of my sponsors, Grant Thornton, I'm honored to help support Ronald McDonald House's Charities of Jacksonville in providing a community of care and a home away from home for critically ill children and their families. 5 days until the players.
You decided to upgrade your outdoor deck. So you ordered the essentials: a power washer, a set of patio chairs, and a shiny new grill. And you use your Bank of America Cash Rewards credit card, choosing to earn 3% cash back on online shopping and up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member, which you put towards your most essential deck addition, a bird feeder. Apply for yours at bankofamerica.com/more rewarding. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Hey, it's Goose from Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Now, I know there's a ton of ways you can listen to the show, but did you know one of the ways is through a smart speaker? Yes, the Google Home, the Amazon Alexa. It's pretty easy to do. Just tell either of them to play ESPN 690. Try it out weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m., and you can listen to Action Sports Jacks.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Smoothie King, our restaurant of the day. 9 locations, Jacksonville, 2 down in St. Augustine. Get to a Smoothie King. I always get that lean one, vanilla.
Yeah.
A little coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of love it. Absolutely love it. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane.
Well, I was going to say, do you know what I associate Smoothie King to now, and I can't help it? Bill Romanowski.
Yes.
And the most intense interview that we ever conducted.
That was pretty good.
That was my first year, too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was intensity.
Hey, let's bring in a 10-time state championship winning coach in a row, by the way. So there's more. But in a row, 10 in a row for St. John's Country Day. The girls got it done yesterday. Mike Pickett joins us from down in DeLand. Actually, the boys are getting set to go and play in the state championship, trying to pull off the double. Coach, congratulations.
Thank you. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks for taking a couple minutes. What does 10 in a row mean for you guys? I just don't know if we celebrated enough. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, just a blessed run. That's all I can say. God has blessed me and given me great kids, and, I'm just lucky to be in the position I'm in.
How much of a target do you guys have on you? I mean, just week in, week out. I know you're playing different classifications. I think I heard you say when we went down and covered it, Marcel Robinson was down there for us on TV on CBS 47 and Fox 30 yesterday. And I think one of your quotes was, hey, this team's been through a lot with COVID, but you also had like some big games scheduled against others. You couldn't get them in because of COVID. But you guys will play anyone, anywhere, it seems like.
We will. We the way I see the regular season is it's all a preseason, and the more we can play teams like Bartram Trail, who's absolutely fantastic, and Creekside and Fletcher and these bigger schools, our kids all train together and play against each other and play on the same club teams, and the better for all of us to put our best teams against each other to groom ourselves for these championships.
Coach, when you talk about 10 in a row, obviously the talent matters. You can't make any ands, ifs, or buts about that. But at the same time, how do you keep your team on that same goal year in and year out? Because the problem with winning so much is sometimes teams get too comfortable. They get too stagnant. So, what do you attribute to your team coming out every single year and playing hungry?
Well, 3 of these kids I had 11 years ago in my elementary program as kindergartners and first graders. Wow. So I have 28 kids right now that I've trained all year at our school that are kindergarten and first graders, and they each have their own ball, and we don't play. We just do ball work to get them comfortable with the ball, and I attribute that a big part of our success is that. The second part of it, being a private school, I can have 6th graders train with our varsity, and public schools get them in 9th grade. So we have our kids for 7 years. And that's our advantage. Yes, we are small. We only have 540 students pre-K 3 through 12, but we have 48 girls in our program, and no one gets cut. So We have kids who have zero aspirations of playing college. We have kids who want to be pros. We have kids who want to play in college. And we have a lot of kids who just want to be a part of something. So we don't cut anyone. We value everyone. Everyone's as important as the next person. And that's our culture. And we have a really good culture where our kids love each other and pull for each other. And if you saw at the end of that game yesterday, I had, had emptied the bench, and our starters were standing up cheering for those younger kids as loud as they were cheering for them.
Mike Pickett, coach of St. John's Country Day girls soccer team, won 10 in a row now, state championships in the state of Florida, Class 2A. Is there any chance the rest of Class 2A has petitioned for you to go somewhere else?
I doubt it. I think they want to beat us. I think the target, back to your first question, is about the size of the state of Texas. So I think, we embrace the target. We know everybody wants to beat us, and we're good with that because I'd rather be in this position than the chaser. So
yeah, no doubt.
It keeps you sharp.
Where are you guys nationally when you talk about this many titles in a row? I was telling Austin yesterday when I was in Rhode Island. I'm from there. I covered Mount St. Charles hockey, and at least when I was there, I remember them winning like 26 state championships in a row in hockey. So I know some schools and programs and states have strangleholds, but when it comes to soccer, 10 in a row, I mean, that's got to be some kind of unprecedented territory.
Well, I know we have the state record for Florida. I don't know where we sit nationally. I'm sure there are many states where there's teams winning 15, 20, and if you just go across the bridge and look at bowl swimming, we're not even a freckle on the skin of that program.
True. Very good
point. What an incredible run they've been on. So we don't really look at all that stuff, to be honest with you. It's an amazing thing, and we've been so blessed and fortunate to have such a great run, and we know it's going to come to an end one day. And really the driving force the last few years is the seniors tell the team, we don't want to be that team. Yeah. It's going to happen, but we don't want to be that team. So it's really helped to keep the kids focused, to be honest with you.
I think the St. John's girls program and what they've done and what you have done, Mike Pickett, is maybe the most underappreciated high school story we have around here, although you mentioned bowl swimming, and that might be up there as well. But maybe the most overlooked team because of your success is the boys team on your same campus. They're playing for a state title in a couple of minutes. They have a good chance today?
They're kicking off as we speak. They are 10 seconds away from kicking off. I think they have a very good chance. They're a talented group, a lot of senior leadership, and a lot of really quality players. So I'm so hopeful that they can pull it off because it would be an amazing feat for our school.
Now, listen, you've won a lot of state championships in a row, but I don't think you're going to get first place when it comes to your family and how big interviews have gone on ESPN 690. Because when we interviewed Carson Pickett, that thing went pretty wild and viral. How is Carson doing?
Carson's doing great. She has been traded to the North Carolina Courage and had a goal and an assist in their first scrimmage. So she's doing well, loves the environment, loves Paul Riley, and playing with great players like Lynn Williams and Dabinia and Jess McDonald. She's really excited and looking forward to it.
That's awesome. How proud of her are you? Not just the soccer stuff, but the platform, which we had a big discussion about. You got to be so proud of that part of it, how she's been able to use her story and help others.
Yeah, throw soccer out the window. What she's done with her platform that God gave her, and not by her choice, but it has been incredible. And to see her age, and where in her younger years she didn't understand it and got frustrated when people only wanted to talk about her not having a left arm. It used to frustrate her, and she didn't want to do interviews because of it. And we just kept explaining to her that, hey, God put you where you're at for a reason, and you need to understand that and embrace it. And as you get older, we think you will. And she has grown into it really well, and we couldn't be more proud of her as parents. The people that she's touching is incredible.
No doubt about it. That is so true, and nice job by all of you to make that happen, and her especially. Congrats on the 10 straight state titles. Good luck next year. Enjoy this one, though, for a couple of days.
Yeah, Brent. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. That is Mike Pickett, head coach of the St. John's girls soccer team. They won 10 in a row. Boys going for a title right now as we speak. We'll give you an update on that along the way. And by the way, Ponte Vedra and Bartram Trail tomorrow with chances to win state titles too. So good high school soccer around here.
One of the most cliche phrases, dynasty, is used a lot.
Yeah,
hey,
that's
Brent,
a dynasty.
Let's go ahead and call that a dynasty
That's
right
a
now.
dynasty. We're way up against it. Thanks for hanging with us, Scott. Appreciate it. Good to have Coach Pickett on. And we'll be back. Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Christine Lisi. One item of business
Thanks,
taken
man.
care of this NFL offseason for the Steelers. They've agreed on a new contract with Ben Roethlisberger. Quarterback willingly reduced his pay from $19 million to $14 million in his final year of his contract and spread the cash payment through 2022, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. Lowered the cap hit so the team can make the right moves to be as competitive as possible this season. A bold prediction from Arizona Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell told SiriusXM Radio he believes the salary cap will force teams to release some big-name players, and there will be a seismic change in where the talent's centered in the league. One team that could benefit is the Patriots, who have some money to spend, points out ESPN's Field Yates.
Patriots know what their needs are. It's not just quarterback, it's wide receiver, it's tight end, and it's more defensive playmakers. They are equipped to be buyers in what's going to be a buyer's market because of all the pieces that are going to become free agents because of this unusual circumstance with the deflated salary cap.
Field Yates on Get Up. NBA Warriors guard Steph Curry and forward Draymond Green will not play tonight against the Suns.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, good to have Mike Pickett on. St. John's Country Day, girls soccer, 10 in a row. Pretty outstanding. And I referenced Carson Pickett. Gosh, I think it was probably almost 2 years ago now. We had Carson on the show. And the picture of her fist bumping a 2-year-old boy who was also born without a left forearm, and they both used their left arms. You might remember that photo. And if you haven't seen it, it's really cool. And it went viral. And we had Carson on that week, and she was tremendous. And she's still a fantastic player, obviously playing pro soccer. So really cool story out of St. John's Country Day. The Pickett family, how good the program is. Really good people as well. And St. John's Country Day boys team now playing for a state title. UNF. Men's basketball team delayed a little bit today because of COVID testing, got hung up a little bit. There was supposed to be a 2 o'clock game. I think it ended up going about 2:40. And they are into the second half. ASUN first round, which is essentially the quarterfinals. And last check, the Ospreys were winning. I'm just trying to get an update. They were winning by a couple early in the second half. So we'll keep you posted on that game. And Ospreys looking for a big win. They are the 4 seed. They're playing North Alabama, the 5 seed. And here we are in March. I mean, you win 3 games if you're the Ospreys, and you're dancing.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
That could happen by Sunday. Now, there's been a lot less. I call the games, or some of the games, not all of them. I call some of the games on ESPN Plus for the Ospreys. And they had a lot of issues with COVID testing. They went up to Liberty one time, had to turn right back around and go home. I mean, they made the bus ride like 7 hours, had to turn around, come home. And then they later on, the conference altered the schedule, and they went back up to Liberty. They ended up losing 2 games up there. So it's just a wacky year in all of college basketball, but they're doing their best to get it in. And right now, the ASUN tournament's underway, and the Ospreys with a lead in the second half. We'll keep you posted on how they do. But again, it's simple as this. It's 3 wins away from dancing. And once again, for Matthew Driscoll and the Ospreys, they are not the favorite to do that. Liberty is once again very good. North Alabama, actually, who they're playing, had the lead early on in conference play. They have since faded. They're now in 5th. Bellarmine, who is new to the conference, they are good. So if you look at Liberty and Bellarmine are the 2 top seeds, and those are newcomers over the last few years to the conference. Liberty, very good. Liberty plays with a whole different deck of cards. I mean, they have a huge budget, and I've seen projections where if they win, they'll be like a 13 seed. Last year, they won as a 12 seed not last year, it would have been 2 years ago now, in the first round of the tournament. So they're legit, and we'll see if the Ospreys could pull the upset and potentially find their way to dance, but they have to first win the first round game, which is going on right now. Ironically, UNF and JU are hosting the tournament. JU is not playing because of COVID problems. They had to bow out of the tournament, and the Ospreys are playing on their rivals' home court right now in the ASUN quarters. Yeah. They are playing at JU. So just a wacky year continues all around sports as we go on almost a full year where sports kind of changed with the pandemic. Speaking of a quick thought or two on hoops, Florida State, I mean, now they're just making it look simple at times. They crushed Boston College, which they're better than Boston College. They should beat Boston College. Leonard Hamilton got an extension late last week. The thing I want to talk about with FSU real quick is if you look at Florida State, the way Leonard Hamilton has done things over the years, people, and I think I probably was in this, I don't know if I criticized, I was just curious. What happens in basketball, in college basketball, this happens in the NBA too. Yep. But you find a rotation that you like. Well, early in the season, say November and December, you might mix in a lot of guys. You might play 10, 11 guys. Well, by the time you get to conference play, you're really leaning on like 7 or 8. Not too many teams go beyond that to play the most minutes. Now, they get in foul trouble. They need to do that. Florida State, up and down, for the last handful of years and probably even beyond, they're not afraid to go 10, 11 deep, even in conference play. Yeah. I almost wonder if they're changing the way it's looked at. And what they've done by doing that, I believe, it feels like, I'm not inside the basketball program enough to know, but watching kind of this thing blossom over the last few years for Florida State, is it's created almost like this culture. And in a world of basketball and sports and everything's kind of a me culture, they have this like ultimate team culture, it feels like, that's really beneficial because everybody knows they've got a piece of the pie.
Listen, I think when we talk about the success of Florida State and how is that going to translate to the NCAA tournament, I think like year in and year out, we think of the unanimous like players of the year, right? Like I think back to Zion. I think even back to like Adam Morrison. I think was Jimmer Fredette the player of the year, the Wooden Award. I mean, he was up there, whatever. But like
he might have been.
What I'm trying to say is like every single year, we talk about, well, this guy's definitely the player of the year, and he'll take his team far. And usually they go to the first round, sometimes the second round, sometimes the Sweet 16, and sometimes to the Elite 8. But you hardly ever see the team with like the biggest stars win the tournament. Because it's a team game. Sometimes star players can have off nights. I compare it to like Villanova. Villanova, when they've won, like, yes, they have some pretty solid players, but no, that's going to really knock your socks off. VCU, the same thing. Like VCU had, Van Vliet, I believe, back in the day and stuff like that. But like no like perennial first round draft picks per se, but they still find a way to do it. That, to me, is what Florida State is. And maybe even more impressive than a VCU or a Villanova is that they have the guys that could potentially be first-round picks, but they play a team brand of basketball that can get you so deep in the tournament.
I think, listen, a lot of times, if you're good, you usually have a good team, right? The chemistry's there, all that stuff. It just feels a little bit different the way Florida State does it. Now, they were up big yesterday, but I mean, look, they go 21 minutes, 37, 32, 24, 18, 21, 14, and then you got a couple guys with 4, 3, and 5. I think you could even make – oh, I'm sorry. I'm at the Boston College one. My bad. Their starters actually – well, they starters because they had the senior night, so they only played a handful of minutes each. But 16, 19, 23, 11, 12, 21, 16, 24, 25. I mean, look, I don't know how many college basketball teams – and again, this was a little bit of a blowout, but I think this is common with Florida State, where if you look the box score up, a lot of college basketball teams will have DNPs.
Yeah.
Did not play.
Sure.
Right? Not the case with Florida State. I think their list goes long. The bench list is long. And last night, it's just like the epitome of what they do. They have so many guys contributing, 16, 18, 13, 7, 6. I mean, you're not having that 28-point night. But you don't need the 28-point night. You just have so many different guys that can get it done. MJ Walker continues to hit three-pointers. They hit 13 of them on the day, so 6 of 9 for him in three-point land. What a way for him to go out his last game there in Tallahassee. It's pretty impressive with what they do. I mean, they had 19 assists last night. They scored the basketball at 93 points. Again, it was Boston College, and I'm taking this one small sample from last night, but I'm not really taking the small sample from last night. What I'm really trying to do is make it a bigger sample of the last few years.
Of course.
And I just think it's changed a little bit the way I think about it. I don't know if that's the case for everybody. And like we're constantly saying, how did Leonard Hamilton turn it around? Like, why? Like, did we have him being maybe it's time to make a change 6-7 years ago to contract extensions at the age of 72 and really, arguably the premier team in the ACC the last few years, along with Virginia and North Carolina and Duke? No, it's Florida State up there with Virginia, if you look at the amount of wins and what else they've done and what else they've accomplished. And I just wonder if more programs will say, hey, maybe we don't need that 7 or 8 deep. Maybe we can make it work at 9 deep, 10 deep, 11 deep. I feel like even some of the smaller programs like say a VCU, you brought them up, and I would have to go look this up. But I feel like they had a bunch of guys play, like they had a lot of guys see minutes.
They had to.
Much of it because of their style, right?
Well, because it was Shaka Smart with the full court press the entire game.
That's right.
So you had to have.
That makes sense. So you got to come at you in waves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yep.
Well, Florida State doesn't do that. They're not trying to play like Loyola Marymount of yesteryear, or the way just these pressing teams play.
Sure.
That's just not the way they do it. But anyway, Florida State, I think after losing the talent, we've discussed this before, to see where they're at again at the top of the ACC. Now, I think we do have to acknowledge the ACC is not what it's been. I mean, it's not the ACC we know, but that doesn't take away with what Florida State is. Florida State is legit. They're good. They have the ability to make a run. Last year felt like if we had the tournament, they might have won it all.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
I don't know if it feels that way. Like, I don't know if they're that kind of good, but they're the kind of team in a tournament that I think has the ability to make that run. I just don't know if I feel that way, like, wow, they could go all the way. Last year, you could feel like, what was it, Dayton, who was very good at the time, right?
Yep.
With Obi.
Creighton kind of this year seems that way as well, but they just got actually beat big time last night.
They did.
So, yeah.
Gonzaga is so good. I don't know if Florida State's on that level. Baylor has been so good. I'm not sure. But when you come out of the ACC and you're like the best team or one of the best teams, or right now they're proven to be the best team in the ACC, you probably have a chance to win it all. You probably have a chance to win it all.
Without a doubt, because how many times, we talked about it, Gonzaga, how many times has Gonzaga been ranked in the top 4? They have the 1 seed. And then they choke. I mean, we see it every single year. And I'm not to say it's going to happen this year, but they had never won a championship. Sometimes it's the teams that, that have the resume that are kind of maybe on the outside of the top 3, top 4 that can make the most noise. And Florida State can definitely be one of those teams.
Yeah, it looks like they'll get a 3 seed in the tournament. So we'll see. We'll talk more college basketball, of course, as the tournament heats up. Florida State, I'm just sitting there last night, and again, I just don't know if you can say enough about Leonard Hamilton, because I think we have to acknowledge what we were saying about Leonard Hamilton.
Yes.
That's I say we, the media. If I say we, and I'm meaning you, the FSU fan, go back and what were you saying 6-7 years ago about Leonard Hamilton? It probably wasn't nice things. And so to find, I think it would be like a heck of a 30 for 30, man, how he turned that program around. How did Florida State basketball become essentially a powerhouse in the last 3 or 4 years? It's the same thing people asked about Florida basketball when Billy Donovan won back-to-back, and he was like, wait a minute, what happened to Kentucky? And this is Florida basketball doing these things. The only big difference there for me is it's been Leonard Hamilton has been there the whole time.
Yeah, no,
and he still turned it around late.
So, and isn't it crazy too? Because, and granted, there's still a lot to come around before basketball commits and stuff like that. But where Florida State sits right now in 2021 in terms of basketball commits, they're number 1 in the ACC and number 2 nationally. Which is so. Think about this though. This has to be a testament to Leonard Hamilton, because it seemed like back in the day, and I still think it applies a little bit. If you're the top recruit in the nation, you go to Kentucky. Now, do you go to Kentucky to win a title? Well, you try, but you go to Kentucky because that's the fast lane to the NBA.
That's right.
Right? You go to Duke if you're like, like a Zion or RJ Barrett, because why? It's the fast lane to the NBA. You don't get the sense that Florida State is really the fast track to the NBA. Now, if you play good enough over a couple years, yeah, you'll get there. But like you get the sense that Leonard Hamilton is doing things a different way, and it's like players want to be around that. Like players respect how Hamilton has built that program, and they kind of quote unquote think that's the way to play basketball. So like that's why I think he's been so good in recruiting. Like, yeah, the UKs and the Dukes, they're great and everything for the fast track to the NBA, but guys still want to win as well.
I wonder this, as you say this, and there's articles on this, and I just haven't seen it. First of all, I think what you said is that people want to play for Leonard Hamilton because he graduates players, and I don't think you find a lot of his players in trouble.
True.
I think that's first and foremost, and now they're winning, and so once you build it, it becomes a little bit easier. But I wonder this, amidst all the allegations, Arizona's, heck, even Duke was in whatever with Zion.
Yeah.
Who else? LSU, heck, even Creighton, LSU. Yeah. But LSU's not really a powerhouse, But I'm just saying, some of those teams and some of the investigations, has Florida State benefited from saying, "Hey, that's a clean program,
yeah,
and we're going to a clean program," or at least the perception is it's a clean program. All that stuff. I wonder if they've benefited a little bit from that.
I think it definitely means something. Listen, at the end of the day, it's usually the kid's decision, but sometimes parents have influence as well. And when you're a coach and you sit down, at that dinner table and you introduce yourself to that family, like that means something, especially I think in basketball where, it's not like you have 70 guys or 80 guys on a roster like in college football. No, it's definitely a smaller roster. You get the more one-on-one time with the head coach. So I think the coaching philosophy and the style that he purveys means a whole lot more than maybe even football.
Yeah, I think the team thing, I think if you go there, you're not going to get stuck on the bench. You're not going to bring the next guy in and he's going to trump you because now you're relegated to, 3 minutes a game because they're going to play a lot of guys. Like the ability to play a lot of guys says, hey, come on, we'll play you. Yeah. We're going to be good. We're going to have 3 or 4 more guys like you, but we're going to play you all. Look what we've done. Look what we've been able to do. And guess what? You're still going to go to the NBA. Look what we've been able to do. And we're going to win games. Look what we've been able to do. And now there's the proof in the pudding,
Doesn't it kind of take pressure off you a little bit too? Maybe a little bit. Some of these guys, like, listen, right now, the way it stands, they're getting the 22nd nationally ranked guy in the country and the 28th guy. On most schools, you go there, it's like, okay, you're the guy now. Like, you have to be the leader. Like, you're this good. So, lead us.
Go deliver.
You go to Florida State, it's like, okay, we have a great team. We sub in and out. You're going to get your playing minutes for sure, but, you still got to earn those minutes, and it won't be so much weight on your back. I feel like as a freshman coming into the game, that's maybe a little bit of a relief. Now, maybe some players embrace that a little more, so they go to Kentucky, they go to Duke, but other players maybe want to gradually get brought along.
Well, it's a great point, okay? I think you bring up a nice point. I don't know how much this factors in or not, but with their stud guy, their one-and-done guy for Florida State is Scottie Barnes.
Yes.
Okay? And I wish I didn't tell you the name first, because if I said, hey, they got this 5-star guy, this guy is a one and done, he's a superstar player, and then I give you his numbers, 10.1 points, 4 rebounds, 4.4 assists, very nice as a freshman. Sure. But nothing that says, whoa, this guy is the leader. Next, you name it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Well, that's kind of what they allow you to do. You get comfortable, you grow. You don't have to be 22 and 12 assists, Now, listen, that's fun, too, in some places. But at Florida State, you just don't have to do that. But I don't think it's hurt Scottie Barnes' draft stock is my point, right? No. I think people are still raving about him. If you watch the games and watch him play, you see the explosiveness, the physical nature. 6'9", 227 as a guard is pretty good.
That's ridiculous.
That's going to translate.
That's ridiculous.
But I'm not going to lie to you. I've watched, we heard about Scottie Barnes. And and I watched some games or been listening. You can catch games right here on ESPN 690. And I'm like, wow, I wonder how many points Barnes has today. And it's 8.
Yeah.
And 8 assists. I'm like, well, okay, it's a nice day, but when's the 32-point game coming?
Sure.
Because that's what we think about in our star basketball players now. That's a 30-point game or it's something unbelievable.
Yep.
This guy's just steady. And they don't need him to do too much to be successful because they've got some nice players around him as well. Florida State hoops, I understand. Like, we don't talk about it all the time, as basketball all the time. Heck, I still wonder how much they even talk about it in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But Florida State hoops is really one of the cool stories in college sports of the last decade, probably.
Yeah.
I don't want to be over dramatic and say how far back. I really think it is one of the cool stories in the last decade. Out of nowhere, in the best conference in America, usually, I understand it's not that way this year, but usually to do what they've done. I mean, would it really be that different? Name a school like in the Big Ten, right? Big Ten's really good.
Yeah.
Wisconsin kind of came out of nowhere, actually, for a bit. And now they've put perennial teams together over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But more recently, let's take a team like
you want like Michigan?
No, because Michigan's been good historically.
Oh, you want
So how about Penn State? So Florida State, in a way, would be like Penn State all of a sudden over the next 4 or 5 years being like front runners in the Big Ten.
Sure.
Bigger than Ohio State, Michigan, bigger than, Indiana's been disappointing for the most part anyway. But, all those schools that now you think about in hoops, you don't think about Penn State in hoops.
Not even close.
Well, you didn't think about Florida State in hoops. They were a team that meddled in the middle of
football
the ACC.
School. It was a football school, just like Penn State.
And Penn State I think that would be a decent comp to say, what if Penn State all of a sudden emerged into this powerhouse in college basketball, a team that we talked about as 2 seeds and 3 seeds and possible national champs, ACC champs, and these crazy home winning record streaks and stuff like that. 5 stars and draft picks.
Yeah.
You just don't think of Penn State. Well, Florida State has developed into that. That's how good of a story it is.
No, for sure. I mean, I would either compare it to Penn State or Northwestern. The ironic thing about Northwestern is they're kind of doing that in football now a little bit.
They have kind of done it on the football side.
They're kind of. They're not winning the Big Ten championship, but they're still winning.
I want you to think of something, by the way. I don't want to get into it today.
Okay.
But as we look into March, and when probably after Players Week, we'll really talk a little bit more college basketball, get the brackets in front of us. I was thinking this the other day when we were talking about Joe Lunardi, talking to Joe Lunardi. If you take, let's see, Baylor's been good in football, but then they've had troubles in football. Baylor, by the way, is really the most incredible story in college. As good as Florida State is. Baylor, what they've done to turn around, what Scott Drew's done to turn around that is unbelievable.
And listen, with all due respect to Scott Drew, I do not want to see those highlighter uniforms in the championship game. I just don't want to do it.
But, in the past, we've had Ohio State be really good at basketball and football in the same year.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan's been able to do that, I think, at times.
Yeah.
Florida had a nice little run there.
Of course.
Where they were at both.
Yep.
Michigan State has been able to do it. Not like championship in football, but they've been pretty good. People talk about them. And
Wisconsin did it one year. Where they went to
Wisconsin
the Final
right
Four,
there?
I think they went to the Rose Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've had teams do that.
Yeah.
Right? Baylor is actually maybe on that list.
Yeah. In terms of
of both? I mean, obviously football now is not very good.
Yeah.
But Baylor could be in that conversation where they've built their program on the football side, or where they had built it, to where they built it now on the basketball side. I'll tell you a team that's sneaky in this conversation is Houston, who's good and has had a year or two in football, not consistently, but they've had a year or two in football. I'll tell you who's now building the football side, to your point, is North Carolina.
True.
I mean, you can make the case that North Carolina's having better years in football than they are in basketball.
Yeah.
So that intrigues me. But the other part of that is a team like Indiana, where when you say Indiana Hoosiers, you think basketball.
Yeah.
And they yet feel like they're off the map.
It's insane.
They just don't feel like they've been on the map.
To me, the Indiana Hoosiers of basketball were like the Texas Longhorns were of football.
That's
when
a
Vince
good
Young
comparison.
was done. Because you get I understand Texas, they have a lot of universities. You got TCU, you got Baylor, you got A&M. But to me, it's always about hook 'em horns, And when they had their fallout and everything, and they started to struggle, I never saw that happen. I thought Texas would always be a powerhouse. Well, the same thing with Indiana. I've played basketball tournaments in Indiana and AAU, and that state is just different. You go to Indiana and it's basketball over everything, man. It's super hard to explain. If you're in Indiana, you grow up playing basketball. If you play football, well, best of luck to you. So it is shocking to see year after year after year how they can't be competitive, how they've kind of, lost the recruiting battles, kind of like Texas did. There was a time when Texas was the place to be, just like there was a time when Indiana was the powerhouse to be at, and it just kind of faded away.
Well, and it's like I was saying earlier in the about like the good in football, good in basketball. Like where I was going with that is Alabama might now be getting into that.
Yeah.
Like because now like basketball is a thing at Alabama. But if you go down, it's really interesting. Michigan basketball better than Michigan football.
Correct.
Baylor basketball better than Baylor football, even though they had some nice runs.
Yeah.
Illinois basketball better than Illinois football, although that's been the case for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa, no doubt.
Well, it's basketball or football?
I think basketball.
Seriously. Yeah.
Because I don't think Iowa's gone to that next threshold.
No, they haven't. I
football.
mean, they played solid competitive football, but I agree. Okay.
McCaffrey's done a good job there.
Yeah.
West Virginia, they've had more success recently, it feels like, in basketball.
True.
They have football. Ohio State has the nice duo thing going.
Yeah.
Right? Especially this year. Now, they took a few years off from the hoops thing, but now they're back. Alabama's in the conversation. Houston is, I think, a nice story in this conversation. Florida State, they got to get the football side back. They're a basketball school right now. Arkansas, way more of a basketball school, although I think that's been the case at times over the course of history, too. Texas, definitely better in basketball. They're 15th in the country in basketball. They're not 15th in the country in football.
No. Despite every single year expectations being high, they never really seem to meet them.
So, anyway.
I dog dare you to say that in a Texas high school, though.
Yeah, well, but that's the reality. Listen, it's not a lie, and it's just telling the truth on where the football program has been at Texas. Is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I think that's
what you're
a
seeing in
wild
that
part
case, though, you're seeing the evolution of the culture in that, because for so long, and even then at the fundamental level, they're still predominantly considered in the one thing. And now you're looking at them, and it's undeniable that metric has shifted. But how do you adapt that modern thinking to that legacy, or does this become the new legacy?
Yeah. Well, see, I just feel like with the Texas Longhorns, they were known for so long, but then all of a sudden you had other possibilities. You had these high-powered offenses in the Big 12, and then all of a sudden it was about Texas Tech, and then it was about TCU, and then it was about Baylor, and then all of a sudden you saw and I compared it to Florida State a little bit. Now, Florida State's starting to come back in the recruiting chill in football, but Texas, for whatever reason, it just stopped being cool. It wasn't the university to be at anymore, which is crazy to me because I felt like Vince Young, when they played USC, they put him on the map. But for whatever reason, guys are more appealing to TCU and other schools like that, even though they're smaller and less recognized. Guys wanted to go there.
Well, and Matthew McConaughey's trying, but he can only do so much by himself. I mean, that's it.
All right.
Hey, one last thing about this kind of conversation. I thought we'd talk about it more down the road, but heck, we're talking about it. I still like the idea that college basketball loves their blue bloods, loves these big schools, but welcomes in the Loyola Chicagos, right? Mm-hmm. The Creightons of the world, who now have become more our Wichita States, the Houston, these teams.
Butler
over the years. Gonzaga, the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
College football doesn't like those schools. They don't. They don't like them. Well, they don't welcome them to the party. In fact, they're trying to do more and more to get them out of the party and anything they can do to push them away. College basketball says, come on.
Yeah.
You're a part of us. You're a part of our story, right? You're a part of the reason people like our sport. I like that.
No, for sure.
I still think Cinderella could exist in some cases in college football if they would allow it. I think the UCFs of the world could be Cinderellas.
Yeah.
Boise State has been Cinderella, but they don't want it. They just don't want to put their arms around it where college basketball has.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and it's a different landscape. I get it, but they
have. No, they absolutely embrace it. I remember the whole George Mason mania. I forgot what year that even was. I remember being a kid and George Mason was the talk of the town. It seems
we
like
love that.
It seems like college basketball relies on that. Well,
1987, the Friars.
There you go. It's crazy because once again, we talk about college basketball. There's a lot of tradition ingrained in it, but you get the sense that with college football, it's tradition or die. In college basketball, tradition's important, but you're always on to the next thing, and you want to always see the new thing. And that's why I think that's where it's different in terms of tradition.
You know what's crazy about it? It kind of goes full circle on this conversation, at least the last few minutes, is it really comes back to the state of Indiana and probably the movie Hoosiers. Is the embracing of that movie, that concept, that idea of hoops, of basketball, is so welcomed in the tournament and in the sport of college hoops.
True.
And I think that's part of the reason. Cinderella is an important part of the story of college basketball. It's not an important part of the story of college football.
But have you seen The Longest Yard? Have you seen The Little Giants, though? The annexation of Puerto Rico? There's some underdog stories in football as well.
They don't like it.
No, for sure.
The old guard doesn't
I'm going to be
it.
honest. Maybe comparing The Longest Yard to tradition, not the best idea, but it is what it is.
Hey,
you're killing me, Smalls.
You ready to answer the phone, Scott?
Hit me.
We're going to go with a giveaway here to the Players Championship. Shop and eat the Players Way. Here you go. $25 gift card to the PGA Tour Fan Shop. $20 to ABBQ session. One session, that is. One $20 V Pizza gift card. One $20 Hoptinger gift card. So that prize pack is going to you if you are caller number 5, 904-362-9901, 904-362-9901, caller number 5, winner of the Shop and Eat the Players Way prize pack, courtesy of the Players Championship here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. It's 1 week away. We'll take a break. More football talk when we come back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly sunny and milder today. The afternoon high in the lower 70s. Still a chilly night tonight, dropping into the low to mid 40s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 at Fox 30. Action News Jacks from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm TV meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years, zero-interest financing with nothing down.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options in financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Connecticut system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
Here in the Sunshine State, we live in 2 time zones. We cheer for 3 NFL teams. We have over 3 million men over the age of 45. And over half suffer from ED or PE. If you're having problems in the bedroom, you'll see results on your first visit at Prime Men's Medical Center, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Brown. If pills like Viagra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center has custom blended medications to help you last longer in the bedroom, regardless of age or past medical history, with no pain and no surgery. You'll see results right in the office, guaranteed, or your exam is free. Patients are now lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Contact Prime Men's Medical Center to schedule a private consultation. Call 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You've got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
In Florida, it's not if the storms are coming, it's when the storms are coming. And that's why you need the Chief. Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, with a proven track record of keeping local families safe. Rain, heat, hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes. We get it all. Just more reasons why you need the Chief. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, backed by the First Alert Weather Team. Only on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home or just steering clear of coworkers, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home to play ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
I finished second, right? I lost in the championship to you.
Austin Lane.
Hey, you know what? You didn't win, okay? That's all that matters.
I didn't win.
Don't worry what you did last year. You didn't win.
I didn't win, and I auto-drafted.
That's right.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
I like this beat.
Yeah.
That's like perfect. What do you keep looking at?
I think that beat was on my head for a second.
Really?
It just flew, flew over there.
We got a little hornet.
Little hornet action. Because then I kind of like swipe something off, and then I see it like fly in my vision. I'm like, oh.
Taking the whole promotional stinger to the next level, man.
No kidding, man. You're hanging out in my head a little bit.
Now
okay.
listen, you're the one that told me. I learned if you're not scared of the bee won't come get you, right?
Check this out.
Are we going about to go to a bee segment here?
And I forgot this was a while ago. Somebody actually requested if I give a killer hornet update or a
murder hornet.
Yeah, murder. I'm sorry. Oh, same thing. Killer, murder.
Come on. Are you afraid of a killer hornet or are you afraid of the murder hornet?
You know what? I am afraid of a first-degree murder hornet. I really am. a lot more. First-degree murder hornet.
Premeditated murder hornet.
Murder hornet. If you want to elongate it a little bit. So check this out. So we haven't heard a lot of the murder hornets lately, right?
We really haven't.
But let's be honest. There's been a lot of stuff going on, right? COVID, aliens, and murder hornets kind of get pushed to the back burner a little bit. I forgot who the guy was that reached out to me. I apologize. I forgot your name, man. But he's like, hey, Train, we need an update on the murder hornets. Well, here we go right here. Check this out. So as far as like in the north it's concerned, like in places like Wisconsin where it's like extremely cold right now, the murder hornets haven't had an effect on the bee population, at least according to like beekeepers around that area, right? So the Midwest, for the most part, with the cold temperatures, it's doing fine. But keep in mind like where these bees came from, right? And we're talking Asia and everything. And remember how I said when I first broke down murder hornets that sometimes nature finds a way to combat itself, and you gotta be careful what you throw in the mix in terms of like things that you make in a lab because it always overcorrects itself. Well, check out what bees are doing now. So honeybees in Asia somehow have it ingrained in them now that they're actually going to like farms, and you know how bees are programmed to bring back pollen, right? Because the pollen makes the honey and all this stuff. Well, now the bees are going to farms and bringing back manure, and what they do with the manure is they stack it outside of their hive, and for whatever reason, this keeps the murder hornets away. So bees in Asia right now are taking manure, posting it outside their beehives, and the murder hornets are attacking them. And that's kind of like the breaking stuff that's happening right now in murder hornet country. So the question remains, can the bees over here adapt and do the exact same thing? How crazy is that?
You know what I really want to say right now?
What's up, man?
I think you're full of...
No, look it up. Look it up. I'm telling you guys, look it up. Look it up right now. Yeah. No, I got you. Did you like how he was manure, by the way?
That was very
real
good
classy of me, right? Real classy.
That's what you call a foul solution.
I'm real professional with it.
It is amazing. We bring in Action News Jack's Tanika Hughes right now.
Oh, wow.
And there's no way. She's coming on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 in between shows on CBS 47 and Fox 30 and thinks she's going to be listening to an update on murder hornets.
I do what I can.
I can top that.
Listen, this is the bee man over here. I mean, there are lessons to be learned from Austin Lane when it comes to bees. He knows his bees.
You better believe it.
Well, you know what? I will use this as a segue because, I think they teach that to news folks in college. So this year, the summer learning program for the Jacksonville Public Library, the theme is Tales and Tales. So it's all about animals. So maybe we can just get them to do a feature on bees and insects while they're at it. So
I like that.
I'm not mad at that.
And you should be a special guest, Austin.
Okay. I can talk some
I
bees.
think that would be great. Don't scare the kids.
No,
Too late.
Too late. Yeah. Have you seen this beard, Tanika? Come on now.
When's the last time we did a story on a murder hornet on Action News Jax?
We did talk about them when, the pandemic first hit because people were like, oh, a pandemic. Wait, murder hornets. So I do remember doing a few short little stories on them, but I don't think they ever made it here, I didn't think.
No, I don't think so either. It seemed like the story kind of disappeared for a while, and that's why somebody asked Austin for an update. See, we get these kind of questions. We don't get like who's going to win tonight. We get bee update questions.
Now if they pop back up, it's your fault, man.
It is on you.
Thanks.
Tanika's joined us, which, by the way, we like talking sports with Tanika Hughes too, but right now we're talking about reading Tanika's Books for Kids campaign over the next couple of weeks. How's it going so far?
Well, we just kicked it off on March the 1st, and it's going to run through March 12th. And so far, so good. But, Brent, we did have to take things virtual because of the pandemic. So we just made a couple of changes this year, really pushing people to do what they've been doing all pandemic, buy online. So buy your books online, and you can also make a donation directly to the Jacksonville Library Foundation, which supports summer learning. You can do it all online, and we made it just really easy to do.
Obviously, you're real passionate about it. What's the inspiration for you, other than maybe the obvious that over the years you've become so passionate about getting books in kids' hands?
Well, I am from a little small town in North Carolina. I'm a country girl. I think we had like one stoplight in my town. And for me, I was really fortunate that I had books at home. I was raised by my mom, my aunt, and my grandmother, and my aunt was a teacher and librarian. So I had access to all kind of books. A full set of the World Book Encyclopedia. I'm aging myself because I think most kids think, you mean Wikipedia? No. Books, encyclopedia. And so like childcraft books and Curious George and all kind of books at home, right? So I would just read, and it would just open my mind to how big the world really was. And that's when I kind of started really imagining what I wanted for myself in life. And I come from an environment, and we come from very humble beginnings. Right now, the median income in my town is $20,000 a year. And my family also was one of those families who struggled to make ends meet. And so paying for college and just having these big aspirations to be a journalist wasn't something that was a clear and easy path for me. But reading is what just kind of set my mind on that path. It helped me to excel in school and to go on to be able to get full academic scholarships to go to college, to major in mass communications, to get my master's in journalism. And for almost 20 years now, I've been living my dream. But that started with me getting my hands in a book. And so for me, it's personal. I understand the impact of it. And you guys are parents. Studies show kids who have books at home, they spend longer times in space. They spend more years in school. They're able to complete more years in school. They're able to have stronger reading skills. So it affects so many parts of their lives. And so for me, that's why I want to give back, because I know the real impact that reading can have.
Well, you've done a great job with it, and keep up the good work. And I always say when we talk to kids or we go to classes and we read, I mean, in our job, we read every night. We read off the teleprompter,
We do.
right?
There's nothing you can do that you don't read. If you want to be a chef, you have to read. Austin, how do you know what you're doing on the field? You have to know how to read plays. You want to be a rapper or a musician, you got to be able to read. It affects every part of our lives.
No doubt about it. Tanika's Books for Kids virtual book drive. We'll share some of the information that includes the QR code as well, but you can check it out on actionnewsjax.com and follow Tanika on Twitter and Instagram and all the rest, and you can get it there as well. Thanks for jumping on. Hope it goes well all the way through March 12th.
Thank you so much. Hey, and if you want to buy a book for kids about bees and hornets, you can do that too. So
I love it. There it is.
That's it.
We're
going to do that.
I'm going to have to buy some books about bees and hornets, man. Because,
Please.
Brent, I'm going to tell you, they're fascinating insects.
They certainly
fascinating
are.
creatures.
All right. Thanks, Tanika. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Watch Tanika and John tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30 coming up at 5 o'clock. That's a good idea.
Let's
we need to donate a bee
Let's
book.
do it. Well, I mean, assuming they're up to date, because like I said, I mean, there's breaking news every single day now in the Murder Hornet, gallery here. So
I love it. Like, I don't think people understand the bee knowledge. Like, they really have to go back to the origins of your bee knowledge is incredible.
Well,
and one last thing about the books,
sure,
which is really cool. Like, I shared a picture the other day because about a month ago, remember Jag's Twitter, Brookview Elementary, they bought all these books. It was like over 1,400 books, I think.
Yeah.
Jag's, and not just Jag's Twitter, but I think they were kind of the motivation for it and started spreading the word. And it just shows how the domino effect of a good thing can happen.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you recently, my mom wrote a book called Super 19.
Yeah.
And so, we were able to get books in all the kindergartners' hands.
That's awesome.
Based off the inspiration of those folks that started that campaign.
Yeah.
And, hopefully we'll be able to do that more and more. It's a great idea. And Tanika obviously is inspiration for a lot of that too. So it's cool that we have these programs around and hopefully can support it, whether it's a bee book, Super 19 book like Mom's writing, or any book that the kids can get their hands on. Because I wasn't that aware of it. I figured there were books all over schools all the time, and I guess there aren't.
Oh, and you said it, Brent. I think every kid has a right to have a book in his hand, use his imagination, and go off to a new place, right? And then that's what books provide us, whether if it's about bees or it's like the book that your mom wrote. Every kid deserves to have books and just, take part in them.
No doubt. You should do a bee class.
Yeah, I should. It's funny that you say that because, like, I grew up as a kid and my grandma would come and lecture us on bees.
She would.
Yeah.
And so show and tell or just
no, it was just
career day or
we were talking about insects and everything. And one day it's like, hey, Austin's grandma's here to talk, and I never knew it, so I'd be like a little embarrassed. Yeah. But then we always had ice cream and honey at the end, so that was kind of like the incentive. So I was pretty pumped up about that.
So it all worked out.
It all worked out in the end. But I definitely wouldn't be opposed to that, man. Like I said, I love that insect. So
it is. It's fascinating.
And
we love listening to you talk about it.
Yeah.
So a little more on the murder hornet, inspired by the hornet that is now sitting on the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp hat now.
And the biggest thing that I failed to mention as well, and if you remember our first conversation about the murder hornets, what did I talk about? I talked about how they were learning how to take care of the honeybees were learning how to take care of the murder hornet by cooking them alive, right?
Yes.
And once again, that happened in Asia. Well, lo and behold, that kind of behavior has somehow found its way to the United States now. So, it's almost like it takes part in Asia and then it comes on its way to the United States, because the bees in the United States, the honeybees, in order to protect themselves, they haven't figured out how to put out the manure quite yet. But the bees across the ocean have. And it begs the question, how do they communicate with each other? And I read and we're getting way down the rabbit hole right now.
Oh,
so do you want to?
I'm interested.
Okay.
They used to say all the fads and everything started in California first and worked its way east.
So it's weird because I read an article, and now believe what you want here, but they compared bees to sea coral. There's different types of species of sea coral. There's hundreds of sea corals, right? But if you take a sea coral out of a certain ocean, and let's say you take a sea coral out by Australia, you bring it back home and you put it underneath your sink in a bucket of water. When that sea coral in Australia, whatever, blooms or changes colors, that one in the bucket will also do the same thing, even though you took it out of its habitat. And there's a school of thought that thinks that even though these bees are thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away, there's some way, whether it's ingrained in their DNA or their genetics, where they can still communicate, not via signaling, but somehow they can communicate with their DNA and say, hey, if you want to kill a murder hornet, cook it alive. Or, hey, if you want to stop a murder hornet from coming to your house or your hive, go find some manure and put it outside your beehive. That's kind of the consensus right now, what they think is happening.
It's unbelievable. It's wild.
It's insane.
And your knowledge of it continues to be unbelievable. Why didn't they ask this on the Wonderlick?
I know, right? I mean, Tim Tebow, eat your heart out. I would have beat you by 25 points, man. We're talking Ryan Fitzpatrick numbers. We're talking Ryan Fitzpatrick numbers.
I was going to say, Ryan Fitzpatrick, do you know this about sea coral and bees and murder hornets? No, you don't.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more football talk, I think.
Maybe. Hey, we'll see what the interwebs say. Maybe people want to talk more bees.
Today on Austin Lane's Animal Kingdom.
You better believe it.
From peeing in a sink to murder hornets.
Monster Jam, by the way, returns to Jacksonville at TIAA Bank Field Saturday, March 6th and Sunday, March 7th. That's this coming weekend. Tickets start just $20, but you can win yours from ESPN 690. Go to the contest page on ESPN690.com for your chance to win. ESPN690.com, your chance to win tickets to Monster Jam this weekend at TIAA Bank Field. We'll be right back.
ESPN 690 SportsCenter Update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp have announced that after delays, the beginning of their season will finally begin on May 4th at 1-1 Financial Ballpark. As you may know, this is their first season as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. In the NFL, former All-Pro linebacker Thomas Davis announced that he'll sign a one-day deal with the Panthers before retiring. Davis has been in the league for 16 years. He was released by Washington on Wednesday, and he wants to finish his career with the team that drafted him. In the fight game, the UFC has released two of its top names in their heavyweight division. Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem were both released from their contracts with fights remaining. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made his AEW wrestling debut last night. AEW is the wrestling promotion owned right here in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, Shaquille O'Neal didn't fare so well. He was put through a table. This SportsCenter update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The Max Kellerman Show.
The Nets started out the season without James Harden, who's their second best player, and then have played recently without Kevin Durant, who's their best player. Also, when Kyrie joined the team, he and Harden had to figure things out. There was an adjustment period. And so the Nets' record does not reflect, their entire record does not reflect the team they've become.
The Max Kellerman Show, weekdays at 2 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Watch exclusively on ESPN+.
They just don't make them like they used to.
People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true, but not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pet's changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jackson, ESPN 690. Social distancing doesn't mean disconnecting. If you're working from home, keep tabs on the world of sports and Action Sports Jacks on your smart speaker. Tell your Amazon Echo or Google Home, play ESPN 690.
Hey, let's do another giveaway. What do you think? Giving everything away today. Bee knowledge, murder hornet knowledge,
coral
knowledge. We're supposed to talk sports. We got no knowledge there.
We talked to Sean Watson a little bit.
We did. That was heated.
We almost got in a fight, Brent.
We did.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Careful right now because I'm in fight camp mode, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready, and this is your word, taper. So
taper.
Just be careful. Mind
Taper's
your P's and Q's around me.
Taper can be a good week.
I'm just saying, mind your P's and Q's around me right now.
I've been tapering for years.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to start. I'm gonna need to start taking the athlete side a little more here, Brent, for your sake.
Okay, it's a Smoothie King day here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Smoothie King, our restaurant of the day. And with that comes a giveaway. How about a $25 gift card to Smoothie King? 9 locations, Jacksonville, 2 locations in St. Augustine. How about be caller number 2 right now, 904-362-9901, 904-362-9901. And you get yourself a $25 gift card to Smoothie King. Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. Only 240 calories, 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces. Go check it out at smoothieking.com. Pickup or delivery, any of the Jacksonville area locations. Smoothie King ruled the day. UNF Ospreys ASUN tournament. They lose in the opening round. They went dry for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't score a bucket in 8 minutes and therefore lose by 8, 68-60 to North Alabama. It's always disappointing to lose in the first round. Ospreys, I don't know, in full honesty, if they were good enough to win this thing. I mean, of course, you can always pull upsets. They certainly were not the prohibitive favorite. And it's really hard to tell what they were because they didn't play a lot over the last 4 to 6 weeks because of COVID. So one of those wacky seasons, and I think JU not being able to participate tells that story. UNF with just not a lot of games in the last month and a half tells a little bit of that story. They lose to North Alabama. The ASUN tournament does go on over the next couple of days, and they'll crown a champ on Sunday.
You know, we talked about this with Coach a little bit, but UNF's a really young team, right? Like they had to replace a lot of guys, and obviously this year with the pandemic and not being a lot of games, I mean, I felt like you lose the chemistry a little bit, especially with such a young team. It can hurt you.
Yeah, I think youth is part of it. I think they're going to be good. This is kind of the replenish cycle, if you will, for UNF. Yeah. It's hard to tell what they are and who they were because we just didn't have enough of a sample size, especially in the last 6 weeks where you're hoping to play your better ball. UNF didn't get a lot of a chance to do that. So Ospreys fall. By the way, St. John's Country Day, they're going for boys and girls state championships in soccer. The boys are down 1-0 at halftime. Marcel Robinson down there will keep you posted on that score. We will take a break here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We got an hour to go. Football at 5 coming up. Here's what I want to know. We talked about Big Ben Roethlisberger, right?
Yeah.
Are there some quarterbacks or teams with quarterbacks that they should move on and you're like, why aren't they moving on yet? I've got one in particular that with all the rumors on quarterbacks, why aren't we hearing this guy's name this offseason? It's somewhat surprising.
Okay.
That and angry fans. You talk murder hornets, I talk angry fans.
Let's get it.
When we come back. Football at 5 on the way on ESPN 690. No matter what you are driving, you can step up to luxury now at any of the Fields Auto Group dealerships in Jacksonville. Cadillac, Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. Yes, it's luxury for less at all Fields Auto Group locations in Jacksonville. Plus, you'll also be part of their exclusive Fields Amenities program, where you will get complimentary loaners, car washes, and cafes. So whatever you're driving, see Fields first and step up to luxury for less during this amazing opportunity. Visit fieldsauto.com.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life. Office in Jacksonville.
Ready, set, go to Arlington Toyota today. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event starting now, which means it's your time to save on over 400 new Toyotas on the lot at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, take your pick. A new 2021 RAV4 LE or a new 2021 Tacoma SR. You choose. 0 down or buy for just $299 a month. This is a purchase, not a lease. It's the Ready, Set, Go sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop safely in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/March for full details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. An 18th season in Pittsburgh for quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. The Steelers agreed with the 39-year-old on a new contract. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports he willingly reduced his pay from $19 to $14 million in this final year of his contract and spread the cash payment through 2022, lowered the cap hit by over $15 million so the team can make the right moves be as competitive as possible this season. A seismic shift coming to the NFL in terms of where the talent is, in the opinion of Arizona Cardinals owner Michael Bidwell. Told Sirius XM NFL Radio, a lower salary cap will lead to some big names becoming free agents, and when determining whether to keep or cut loose a player, teams face one major question, explains our Diana Rossini.
GMs, coaches are looking at their rosters and looking at those contracts, usually veterans with no longer guaranteed money, and they're basically evaluating, can we do without them?
ESPN's Diana Rossini. NBA Warriors guard Steph Curry, forward Draymond Green won't play tonight against the Suns. Curry a night off to rest. Green continues to recover from a sprained ankle.
Dell's semi-annual sale delivers unmatched productivity and play. Right now, save what Dell employees save with 17% off leading XPS and Alienware computers powered by Intel Core processors. Visit Dell.com/semi-annual or call 800-BY-DELL. That's 800-BY-DELL.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome back. 5 o'clock hour here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Just got an email from Tanika, who we had on the last half hour talking about her Books for Kids campaign. And she just received an email from a gentleman in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Henry Davis was listening in. So give Henry a shout out from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, listening in to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Put him on the roll call list.
Roll call it is. We need to have like a map.
I know
with
we got to do it. You know, like we get a map like pins, and then we can kind of pretend like we're like in one of those shows like NCIS or FBI what's the movie with what's the Harrison Ford movie? Where he's on the run. Fugitive?
Oh, Fugitive.
Yep, Fugitive. There we go.
I like that.
Like where
you could be like ZZ Top, bad and nationwide.
I like that, man. I love the references, man. Yeah. Like we don't get, with all due respect to Coos, you never get that with.
Speaking of Coos,
yeah,
are we ready for a TJ McConnell box score breakdown or what?
So I think we're gonna do it tomorrow, but since Coos isn't here right now, he's doing his thing. But TJ McConnell, sir, and you want to talk about the most? And I tweeted him this. Like, because he's obviously getting my face now. He's got his same on as John Morant. Is there anything more extra as an NBA player than getting a triple-double with steals in the category?
Dang. I never saw you tweeted something or texted or shared something back at us.
Yeah.
Like, how rare is that?
I thought maybe that's what you did.
No. What I did was, so T.J. McConnell, triple-double last night, including steals, and then Kuz tried to put it in my face. Yeah, Kuz tried to put it in my face, and I said, I'm not worried because Giannis has 4 of them. 4 triple-doubles.
Oh, 4 triple-doubles.
Yeah.
But not with steals.
Not with steals. No. Who gets over 5 steals a game?
Like,
Come on.
I wonder. I'll have to look that up. I can't imagine it's much. Elias, where are you?
Yeah.
The Sports Bureau must say that cannot have been done very often.
Yeah.
In the NBA. That was quite impressive. I might go buy a TJ McConnell jersey myself.
Right? Are you kind of inspired right now? Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. He's not the biggest dude out there. Maybe probably not the most athletic, but the guy plays hard.
Like, is he developing into a good player, though, for them?
Because let's not lose our heads here.
I felt like he was the 11th guy on the bench in Philly when this all came about 2 years ago, and now he's putting up triple-doubles, and he had like that 12-assist game, I think it was, or 15-assist game.
I mean, he's going to mess around and start to be in starting territory pretty soon because he's still coming off the bench. Off the bench, triple-double, Brent.
I'll tell you what, that jersey you got, Kuz, I mean, it's going up. You might want to put it on eBay or something.
Exactly. Well, it cost me, it didn't cost me a lot, but it took a lot of my time up because, remember, it got lost in the mail because it was coming from overseas.
You thought it was lost.
Oh, I thought my credit card was stolen, too.
I know. I remember that. Yeah. Hey, we asked earlier about Big Ben Roethlisberger. We were talking about Deshaun Watson. But are there some basically we're saying, okay, there's QBs that look like they might be on the move. Heck, even Russell Wilson. I still think this story is so bizarre to me. I'm not going to believe it until I see it. Yet the smoke continues to come out.
And have you seen the latest now?
Yeah.
Seattle's disappointed with Russell Wilson again?
That was the latest headline. But then there was a report that basically said, hey, they're shopping him. But then Diana Rossini came back out. Not what I've heard. Other teams are calling, and they might be listening. Yeah. They're not necessarily shopping. Again, this thing, I believe, is just a media circus deal. I would be stunned. I've already lost many houses on a bet. I would put my house on I don't think he's leaving Seattle. I don't. But we've seen enough in the QB carousel going on. What I'm interested in here today is, what about the guys that should be in the QB carousel but aren't?
Yeah, I'm curious because you have this one name who you said we're not really talking about.
I think this fits kind of today, the big Ben Roethlisberger conversation.
Sure.
Like, I believe, I'm not saying Ben should go play for another team. I kind of feel like the Steelers, if they want to get better sooner, if they want to start pivoting the organization, now is the time to do it. I understand there might be a loyalty to Ben, this one more chance to see. I don't think that exists.
Yeah.
That's up for debate. They obviously do. They're getting him a little bit cheaper, so why not one more go around, I guess. Like, I can see some of the logic for Pittsburgh. I think they're making a mistake. If you want to pivot and turn quicker, well, they're just going to put this off for another year or maybe 2 in terms of that turn and pivot. The one that I am a little bit surprised we're not hearing more about is somebody that we've heard a lot about over the last couple of years. Okay. And have things smoothed out so much that now he's the guy.
I can't think who this is.
Derek Carr.
Ah.
John Gruden, Derek Carr, it never seemed like it was working. Like, it was you'd hear a report here, a report there. Gruden wasn't sold on it. He brings in Mariota for $7.5 million. Well, you haven't heard anything from Gruden. Haven't heard any rumors other than initial hope and thoughts and long shot deals from Raider fans, I think, to say maybe we can get Deshaun Watson. Can we trade Derek Carr for 2 ones? Well, nobody was doing that. So, and then Mayock comes out, I think either today or yesterday, and says he thinks he's really good.
Yeah.
And shows support for Derek Carr. They're not looking to shop him at all.
I have the quote right here. I think Derek Carr had his best year yet under John Gruden. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and we're happy with him. I think John Gruden and I would stand shoulder to shoulder and pound the table for Derek Carr. Exact quote from Mike Mayock.
I mean, that is a lot different than a year ago. And credit to Derek Carr, who, we had Jason Fitz on all the time, and he's a big Raiders fan. He says people aren't talking about Carr, but he had a really good year. True. Raiders fans, I think, are happy with Derek Carr.
Yeah.
But are you surprised that with all the quarterbacks out there, with the potential for Watson to be out there, with whether it was Stafford, whether it was Goff, Wentz, Garoppolo, heck, if you want to throw Russell Wilson, if you want to see if Carolina wants to dance with Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston could be available, I guess. Sam Darnold, all of those guys, whether you like him or not, are you surprised the guy that is supposedly the guru, one of the QB gurus, and John Gruden, and never seems satisfied.
Yeah.
Isn't in the mix to go try to upgrade and get one of those guys.
I am a little bit. And maybe that just says how much that we don't pay attention to Derek Carr. But, John Gruden is the quarterback whisperer. And when you have names like Russell Wilson, when you have names like Deshaun Watson, you think that Gruden would be like the first guy that's like pounding on the table for those guys because those guys can make a difference. But once again, and you can call it, an under-the-radar type of season for Derek Carr. But when you look at the numbers, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, over 4,000 yards passing. A lot of teams in the NFL would take that right now. Would take that in a heartbeat.
He had a nice season.
It's just, I don't, but I can't put a finger on it. I don't know why it's, I don't know, Brent. Like to me, that's quiet though. Like I haven't talked about Derek Carr. Like what you said, Jason Fitz did, because Jason Fitz is a Raiders fan, so he has every right to talk about Derek Carr. But how many guys are in sports saying, yeah, Derek Carr had a great year. Expect big things from him next year again. I'm not doing it.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not about, okay, nice job, good year. Guys have good years, and I don't think it should be dismissed. But it's where do you stand on the upside? This is all about upside. This is why I don't think the Ben Roethlisberger sticking with Pittsburgh is a good idea one more year. I'm not – the Goff thing is weird to me for Detroit. To start a regime with Jared Goff after one, including a QB guru, doesn't want him.
Yeah.
That's weird. The Wentz upside is there. I don't know if it's going to be there. I debate whether it's going to be there, but I can see why people would say it's there. If you wanted to go for Sam Darnold and say the Jets have been a mess, he's been put in a bad situation, we think the kid's got talent, let's go make a move for him. Okay, I can buy that. The superstardom already is there for guys like Deshaun Watson. I don't know if anybody feels like this crazy upside ceiling for Derek Carr, yet it feels like Las Vegas is very satisfied to be in the position they are. And are you going places if Derek Carr, who's coming off a nice season, continues to have those kinds of seasons? Or do you need more out of that position to get where you really want to go, especially in a division with Patrick Mahomes?
See, to me, it's the Kirk Cousins effect. Kirk Cousins last year, 4,200 yards. 35 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Not a bad year. One could argue maybe a better year than Derek Carr. But, like, we don't talk about Kirk Cousins as being a top 5, maybe even a top 10 quarterback.
No.
Right? Now, yes, sometimes the ceiling is great for Kirk Cousins, but, like, you don't expect that he's the guy that's going to lead Minnesota to a Super Bowl. And I feel it. And I kind of feel the same way about Derek Carr.
Yeah, that's a good comp.
So, I don't know. I don't know if you base the philosophy on, okay, Derek Carr, top 15 quarterback, no problem saying that. Top 10, maybe on the outside, but close. Like, do you have enough around him to make that run? I'm not sure if you do or not. But when I see guys like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, like, you get the sense that those guys are capable. Those guys are more than capable if you provide them with enough talent to be successful. With Derek Carr, I just don't know, even if you have the talent around him, if he's successful enough. But like you said, I mean, he had possibly his best career last year, so who knows?
Yeah, I think of this. So I've got Ben Roethlisberger on this list. It might be time to move on to organization if you want to get better. I think Derek Carr could be on this list because I don't know where his ceiling is. Congrats on a good year. We like where we're at. Yeah. But if they're, again, in an offseason where quarterbacks are on the move, it feels like, it feels like a possibility to upgrade. I would say the same thing, by the way. I think you could at least wonder, and they know him better than all of us. We've just seen stats about Tua. Could they pull in Arizona and say, all right, we can do better? Now, we might see that in the draft.
Sure. Remember Ben Roethlisberger, though, as well. Even though he felt like he had a rough year, 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, over 3,800 yards passing. Anytime. So, like, with that being said, I mean, we're sitting here, I think we both agree. I mean, is the Ben Roethlisberger experiment kind of done? Should they move on a different direction? Probably. But you see the numbers last year, and it's like, whoa, how bad was he really?
Yeah. Listen, I think you can I don't think he was bad last year. I really, like, I didn't have this perception that he's bad. It's like, where is he going? If you look at these guys' stocks, like, where's Roethlisberger's stock? Mm-hmm. It sure as heck ain't going up anymore.
So do you think Derek Carr's stock can go up?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Yeah. Like, I don't see it high. Like, I see it as a steady stock, but nothing that's going to make the big jump and get me to where I want to go. in retirement.
For sure.
Like, so
it's not Bitcoin.
It's not. It's not. You know, a lot of different stock. It just doesn't have that boom potential, in my opinion. It's got steady potential, so it's a safe play, and that might be okay. That might be suitable for the Raiders, the situation they're at. They can do worse. The Cousins is a great example.
Yeah,
same type of thing. That's what these franchises have to have. You know, it's a real different conversation. I have this discussion all the time. If you go back to a decade ago when we were talking about quarterbacks, and quarterbacks were viewed as like, man, nobody has them. Mm-hmm. Like there's Brady, there's Manning, there's, you know, Rodgers or Favre at the time, whatever it was. There's a few of these guys and nobody else has them. Well, now you get fast forward, and I think the quarterback position is being played better at every level than it's ever been played before, and I think there are more good quarterbacks than ever before. It's still hard to find elite quarterbacks now, great quarterbacks, unbelievable quarterbacks. That's still a hard thing to do, but I think it's much easier to not fail at the quarterback position for GMs and teams than ever before, and I think we're seeing an example of that. 10 years ago, you would take that steady play of Carr last year, Roethlisberger last year, Cousins over the last few years, and be like, wow,
Stafford.
we're in the mix.
Yeah.
Right? We're in the mix. Mm-hmm. Now you're comparing to guys that change the game.
Yeah.
Mahomes is obviously leading the way.
Yep.
And so you have to wonder if you have one of those guys. Like it's like being pretty good or good used to be, in my estimation, 10 years ago, used to make you a contender. Being pretty good and okay at the quarterback position makes you more of a pretender now.
Yeah.
Unless you're just so good around that quarterback. But it's really changed because you could actually be just like below average years ago with guys like Trent Dilfer if you were really good and still win.
Yeah, you're an outlier. I mean, one could argue maybe Joe Flacco as well.
Well,
even
yeah,
though he
heated up during that time, but no. So I just think the quarterback, it's changed. It's the hardest position to play, but there's more good quarterbacks than ever before, in my estimation, and so therefore our standard goes up.
Correct.
Okay, the slide has changed, and so you have to be dang good. And Derek Carr, I don't know if he's dang good. I don't know if Kirk Cousins is. Cousins is weird because these numbers are so good, but for some reason he just can't win big. I think he might never win big.
Basically what you're trying to say here is that if you're an elite quarterback, top 4, top 5, there's a good shot year in and year out you're going to be a competitive team. And we're going to be talking about you in the playoffs and making a Super Bowl run.
And that's always been the case.
Correct. If you're a if you're a tier 2
Above
quarterback.
average.
Yeah, if you're a tier 2 or tier 3 quarterback, if the teams around you, you can have success. But sustained success is another story, right? Like, I mean, I compare it to Blake Bortles. Now, Blake Bortles is probably a tier 3 quarterback or a tier 4. You know what I'm saying? But, like, he had the guys around him, and what happened? They had sustained success for 1 year, and then that was done. But when you have guys like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and maybe Josh Allen now, you get the sense that year in and year out, we're talking about the playoffs. Now, Deshaun Watson obviously being the outlier there.
Yeah, well, it's like the 63% completion percentage and 4,000 yards used to be like, dang, that guy's having a heck of a year.
Yeah.
That's like an average year.
That's standard.
That's the standard. That's where you got to get your mind around. Like, rarely what Derek Carr had was an average year in the NFL.
Yeah.
What Ben had this year was really for him below average, even with 33-10.
Correct.
What Kirk Cousins is doing is pretty average, but it's no longer considered like, holy cow. It just isn't. And the separation there is probably minimal, but are those guys, is the question, going to get to that level? I think that's I don't have that answer as yes when I'm talking about Derek Carr, even Cousins. And, like, that's where I think Miami is in a little bit of a tough spot because I think a lot of people would bet against Tua right now being good.
Sure.
But they're going to wait it out. Is the smart thing to do wait it out? Or is the smart thing to reset it and go get competition and go get somebody that might be better, because that's what you should always be trying to do.
And what are we talking about right now with Matthew Stafford going to L.A.? L.A. is one of the favorite teams to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. Why? Well, Matthew Stafford last year pretty average numbers, even below average, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Now, he had some injury problems, so keep that in mind as well. But, like, we get the sense that the Rams are going to take a step forward because what? They have who they have around Matthew Stafford. Right now, he's got more offensive weapons. He has one of the best defenses in the entire NFL. So we get the sense that everything around Matthew Stafford is going to elevate that team and maybe have sustained success.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to do as much. He doesn't have to carry the weight because he's a little bit Cousins-esque in that sense. He's proven that he can't do it alone.
Correct.
That's one thing about Matthew Stafford. He can put up great numbers, but he's proven he can't win alone. And that's a lot to ask anybody. But a guy like Tom Brady's proven he can win, even when they're down.
True.
He can elevate to such a level that you don't have to be superior in every spot, and you can still have a chance.
I'd say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers as well.
And Rodgers is like that.
Yeah.
Cousins has proven that he can't make up for certain deficiencies enough. And maybe that's too much to put on a guy. I'm just saying he's proven that he can't.
But when you have Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Kyle Rudolph back in his prime, that makes things a little easier.
I would say
to say
so.
the least.
I think Scott had dialed up Mike Mayock on Derek Carr, so why not just put a bow on this segment since Scott did all the work and hear from Mike Mayock?
Obviously, I can't talk about anybody else's players, so I won't. I'll just talk about Derek, and I'm going to tell you the same thing I've told you guys the last couple of years, which is I think Derek Carr had his best year yet under John Gruden. I think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and we couldn't be happier with him. And I tell you every year, we evaluate every position every year. I have no idea who might call me or who might not call me. So you have to do the evaluations both on your own players and every other player in the league. And you got to stack your boards and understand what league value is all around the league. And we do that. But if you're asking me about Derek, I think John and I would both stand shoulder to shoulder and pound the table for Derek Carr.
I tell you, that's pretty loud and proud right there.
Yeah.
When you say top quarterbacks in the NFL, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not paying enough attention.
Yeah.
I do see. I think your comparison to Cousins is kind of a good one. I could see the next 4 years for Derek Carr being very Cousins-like. And in part, it might just be the Raiders' fault for not putting enough around him. But if you think Derek Carr, even with 30-10 or 30-12 and 3,800 yards or 4,200 yards is going to get you to the promised land with Mahomes in your division and all these teams in the AFC, I don't see it. And again, that's more promise for Jacksonville, again, because this guy's supposed to be special. Like, nobody's saying Derek Carr was going to be special. Nobody even thinks he's special. You can say he's good, but special isn't coming out of Mayock's mouth.
True.
And what guys like Mahomes, guys like Russell Wilson, guys like Aaron Rodgers, obviously Brady, when you say the word special, that gives you a chance, like you said, year in, year out, if you're that good. Now, if he can live up to that kind of hype and be special, he might give the Jaguars a chance year in, year out. Now, it might not be in 21, but going forward, year in, year out. And the better the Jags get around him, well, now you're talking about a team that's a perennial contender. That's why we're excited in Jacksonville. That's why people are excited, because he's different than the Cousins, than the Carrs. It feels that way, at least. It's expected to be that way.
Well, and listen, if anybody really, like, take John Gruden, all right? John Gruden, like we talked about, he's the quarterback guru, right? He thrives in coaching the quarterback position. I know this was a long time ago, but I believe it was back in 2002 when the Buccaneers won with him as the head coach, right?
Yeah. Two sounds right.
Yeah, it was around that time. But who was the quarterback then? It was Brad Johnson.
Yes.
Now, do we always talk about Brad Johnson as being one of the best quarterbacks of that era? I don't mention that at all.
It was Trent Dilfer-esque category, although Johnson was better than Dilfer.
Now, once again, Johnson had a lot of guys around him. He had a fantastic defense. I wonder if, and I don't want to compare Brad Johnson to Derek Carr, but I think Gruden in his mind is like, okay, I've seen this before. I've seen this story before. We got to surround him with offensive weapons, which they've been trying to do, it seems like, in the draft. Darren Waller being one of those guys the past couple of years. We build the defense up, and maybe we have a little, regroup like we had back in 2002.
Yeah, I don't even know who to compare. Johnson winning the Super Bowl and Dilfer at the time. And again, those came within like a couple years of each other.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of an outlier to be
those kind of quarterbacks and winning Super Bowls, you had to be so elite around them.
Yeah.
And defense carried the day.
Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp. I mean, come on.
Well, and
Derek Brooks,
Baltimore when Dilfer
John
did it, I
Lynch.
had that defense.
True.
So I mean, Goff might have been almost the closest comparison to that when he went to the Super Bowl, depending on how you feel about Goff. Goff goes to the Super Bowl carried by a defense, carried by an offensive coach, carried that way. But I don't even know where I don't put Carr. I think Carr's a better quarterback than Dilfer. And Johnson and those guys. I do. I think Cousins is better than them. I'm trying to think of a quarterback in today's NFL and if they would even have a chance with his skill set and production to win the way, I'd almost take a Teddy Bridgewater. Is Teddy Bridgewater, and that might be unfair to Teddy Bridgewater, but let's just take him. Is Teddy Bridgewater good enough to win a Super Bowl even with a good team? In today's NFL, is he going to beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay? Is he going to beat the Rams defense? Is he going to beat Russell Wilson in Seattle? I just think the NFL has changed that I'm not sure you're getting away with that kind of quarterback winning a Super Bowl, even if you're good around him.
So let me ask you this, though. Derek Carr or Jared Goff? Who are you taking?
I would take Carr.
You take Carr? I think I would take Carr, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think most teams would.
Yeah.
I think.
Sure. No, I hear you. I think the sense is that if you put Derek Carr on the Rams, you get better production than what Goff did.
Well, and here's the one thing about that. And again, the NFL trust, if you will, those people making these decisions will look at a piece of paper and a check the boxer, and they might say Goff because he might check the boxes on some of the things, way more than Carr.
Yeah.
Carr physically is not going to check a ton of boxes. But I think I would take Derek Carr all day over Jared Goff.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
All right, let's take a break. We come back. Angry fans in sports is a topic.
Yes.
There's a poll out about it.
Yep.
And how did Shaq do last night?
How
was his debut? Success? Failure? I heard you talking about it at the end of yesterday's show. You said it could have gone either way.
Let's just say he left us with a lot to talk about.
All right.
So I'll tease it like that.
We got that on the way. Smoothie King, our restaurant of the day. We'll give another gift card away coming up here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Clear and cool tonight with temperatures dropping into the 40s. Partly sunny and mild Friday. The afternoon high in the low 70s. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where right now you can get 5 years zero-interest financing with nothing down.
Beard's Diamonds' most exciting offer is back for a limited time.
0% financing for 5 years. Plus, get zero down.
It's the sale smart jewelry shoppers wait for.
You get Beard's already low prices.
But then you get to spread your payments out for 60 months with no money down.
But hurry, this incredible finance opportunity won't last long.
How about a $6,000 Decory or Veragio ring?
You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of $3,000 stud earrings.
You pay just $50 a month.
And every purchase at Beard's Diamonds is backed by our free lifetime warranty.
Now's the time to get her that designer setting she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out for 5 years.
Find your total price by 60, and that's all you'll pay per month.
Don't miss out on the best deal of the year. 0% financing for 5 years. Plus, get zero down on everything in the store.
Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed at Beard's Diamonds.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? You're probably looking for some fuel treatment. It cleans your fuel system to help your engine run smoother, and that means better gas mileage. Right now, you can get 2 bottles of Lucas Complete Fuel Treatment for just $8, plus a $1 bonus reward if you're an AutoZone Rewards member. Not a member? Don't worry. We can sign you up fast right here or on AutoZone.com. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune in to Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
We all know what the most important meal of the day is, and now it's the most awesome. Moe's Southwest Grill, St. Augustine, is now serving up breakfast burritos and bowls in their drive-thru. The fluffy eggs, shredded cheese, grilled steak and chicken, and salsa if you choose. They're all available in the AM, so you can swing by the Moe's drive-thru on your way to work. No more cold cereal and oatmeal at your desk, just convenient, breakfasty goodness. Get ready to be the coolest kid at the office. Welcome to Moe's.
Have you seen it? The all-new showroom at Arlington Toyota is open, and they're ready to celebrate with big savings, even on pre-owned. Celebrate savings and hearing the words, "You're approved." That's right. With Arlington's Credit for Everyone program, if your beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. Plus, if you want selection, Arlington's got it. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot, what are you waiting for? Celebrate with savings and come see the brand-new facility at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Monster Jam returns to Jacksonville at TIAA Bank Field Saturday, March 6th and Sunday, March 7th. See the legendary Gravedigger, Max D, and more compete in intense competitions of speed and skill. You can win a pair of tickets for free from ESPN. To register for your chance to win, go to the contest page on ESPN690.com.
Austin Lane.
I want you to put yourself in Leonard Fournette's shoes. Probably a little bigger shoes than you're rocking right now. Shocker, you're wearing sandals, and that's all good, though.
Brent Martineau.
Well, you are too. They're just like, I mean, they're just like, look like
might
Vans.
as well be. I might as well be.
Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Oh, yeah. A lot of energy in here.
You guys got some funky bumper music since my last time here.
I thought this was you. I never hear this one from Coos.
No. He's back. He's hanging out. It's funny, like when we come back on there, we start talking, he goes to the window.
Henry the Hornet.
Henry the Hornet. I like that.
We got Henry the Hornet in here.
Henry the Hornet.
We got a lot of comments today on the YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah?
Including Diesel Dad 54.
I haven't checked the YouTube channel.
It's his oldest daughter's birthday, turning 6. He did not say her name, but happy birthday to oldest daughter turning 6.
Right on. Little Diesel.
Little Diesel.
Little Diesel.
Right. Very true.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else we got? I love how Brett says it was in Jan's financial interest to play before he left Jax. Did he not see how much money Jan lost just to leave? I think Brent's way wrong. Watson will not play next year for Houston. I would put a lot of money on that.
It's good to see those burner accounts are coming through for me.
I was going to say.
A lot of Brent burner, or I guess a lot of Austin Lane burners. But.
Is that Ramsey's burner account on YouTube?
Yeah. What else are they saying here? I'm out here too. Oh, by the way.
And Tim says Brent's always wrong on these kind of situations. He often takes the front office side of the issue. He can't see it from the player's point of view.
Front office shill, Brent Martineau. You know what's funny? Kuz yelled at me. So apparently we can't call it the ESPN 690 stream chat. It's just the ESPN 690 stream. So I got scolded for that.
Why?
Now, because everyone's calling it the stream. That's what the hip thing is.
And you got to lose the word chat.
Now, here's the thing. When you go online and you watch us, what does it say? Like, what does the banner say? ESPN 6. Thank you very much. So I had this discussion with Kuz. We're going to work through it, but apparently I can't call it stream chat anymore.
That's interesting.
Yeah, even though it's called stream chat on our YouTube page. But it is what it is.
We'll have to have him fix that.
Yeah.
We won't put that on you, Scott.
No, Scott.
That was set up before I got here.
Scott,
man.
This isn't your fault, man.
This is not on you.
Nothing you could have done.
You got Diesel Dad fired up. Preach, Austin. I'm about to go train myself. See, I think he was talking about your fight back then.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure it was about you, though, too, talking about training, how it's contagious.
Yes.
Maybe we got him involved as well. Cool.
Want to look at me, and I'll inspire you.
TJ McConnell-esque, one would say.
Yes. See, I'm going to do my part for the team. I'm going to go carb load later.
Let's go, Scott. Let's get it, man. Get that energy. I appreciate it.
Glenn says Lawrence, Leatherwood, Wade, top 3 picks. Thoughts, Brent?
Apparently, I'm not involved in this one.
I guess not. I like the Lawrence pick. I've thought about Leatherwood. We'll see. I don't think they're going there.
Great name.
But I've thought about Shaun Wade because his draft stock has dropped.
Yeah.
He'd be an interesting one where you'd find potentially a lot of value based on what he was considered to be and is.
Mm-hmm.
He really had a shaky year. And so his draft stock has, dropped for a reason.
Yeah.
But few people know him maybe better than Urban Meyer. That would be one to watch with all the picks they have. If he starts dropping like deeper into the second round, they need help at corner. If they don't go get one, Shaun Wade could be an interesting play. Young man from Jacksonville, Trinity Christian. I've thought about that in the past, so I think that's an interesting play if that were to happen. Thanks for all the comments, by the way, in the feed. I mean, I love it on the YouTube feed. I got to look at this more often during the show. I usually look at it after. Then it's too late.
Take notes. Yeah.
A lot of folks were talking about all the basketball runs, though, in football and basketball that people have made that we were talking about earlier in the show. I got to give away another $25 gift card to Smoothie King. Let's do it right now. You all right, Scott? You ready?
Bring them.
904-362-9901. Let's go caller number 3. $25 gift card to Smoothie King. Smoothie King, our restaurant of the day. Hey, if you want to be part of our restaurant revival tour, well, find me, search me, email me, call me.
Yep.
You can be a part of it, just like Smoothie King, restaurant of the day here on this Thursday. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Glad to have them on board as our restaurant of the day here on Thursday. 904-362-9901. A $25 gift card to Smoothie King. Right now, if you give it a call and you're caller number 3, give Scott a call. Angry fans in sports. Are you an angry sports fan?
No, man, I'm pretty casual. Now, once again, I did swear in front of my family when Blake Bortles threw like his 3rd pick 6 of the season. And at that point, my wife thought who she married, so that was rough. But besides that, I'm pretty low-key and chill.
Angriest you can remember being, was that it? As a sport? I mean, come on, go back to your days.
No,
like
I know.
You're watching the Green Bay Packers. You're not allowed in the pickle at that age.
You'd be surprised.
Somebody.
You'd be surprised. Man, nothing sticks out to me too bad about being the angriest. Yeah, I got nothing for you, man. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I go back to like Buckner and.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I mean, it was tough as like a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, that was like I didn't know how to act other than throw things at the TV, and I mean it was bad. I remember one time though, my mom always still tells this story, and this was before the Buckner. The Red Sox against the Angels were down to their last out, but prior to that they had been losing. And I'm down there. I can picture right where I am, right like this green chair that we had in this living room, and I'm 9, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I just give up on the game, and I go upstairs. I'm like done.
Yeah.
They're losing. It's the 9th inning. Well, turns out that game 3-2, 2 outs. Donnie Henderson.
Yeah.
Don Henderson hits a. I'm sorry, Don Henderson. Dave Henderson hits a home run to win it.
Oh, wow.
And I believe it was a 3-2 pitch as I remember it. I think I'm right on that. And then they go to the World Series, and then all the stuff happens with the Mets and the Bill Buckner play. But my mom is like she always reminded me of that growing up after. Like, see, don't give up. It's never over until it's over. My mom, she's like the ultimate positive person. It's never give up. Heck, Jags could be like 4-8. Like, don't worry, they still got a chance of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Remember what happened remember the Red Sox in 1986?
To answer your question, though, and this just came to me, and I've talked about this incident before, but when Claude Lemieux cheap-shotted Chris Draper into the boards, because I remember this moment, because obviously I'm a diehard Wings fan, and I remember what I used to do back in the day was I'd have hockey practice.
That'd be Colorado, right?
Yeah, Colorado. It's Colorado-Detroit. And I remember when I had hockey practice, I'd have my mom or my stepdad tape on ESPN2 the hockey games. Well, that happened to be, it was Detroit and Colorado that night. And I can't remember if it was like a Saturday where I had to play a game or if it was a practice night. But I remember I got home and I'm like, don't tell me who wins, don't tell me who wins. And I remember my stepdad goes, you're not going to be happy. That's all I'm going to say. So immediately I thought like, oh, the Wings lost. But then as I watch the game and I see the cheap shot, and like to set the scene real quick, Chris Draper is essentially what Brad Meester was to the Jaguars. Wasn't the most popular guy per se, not the household name, but he did all the dirty work. He had longevity, and he was well respected within that franchise. So when Claude Lemieux cheap shotted Chris Draper and put him in the boards, and knocked him out, and he had to be stretchered out, like that was a big deal. And then
the heart and soul guy.
It was the heart and soul guy. So I remember watching that live. I mean, I didn't watch it live because it was taped, but I remember watching it, and you would have thought like my only family member just got hit. You know, like I was ready. Mom, we're going to Detroit. Let's go. I got to defend Chris. Like I was that emotional.
You sent hate mail to Claude Lemieux.
Exactly. So, but thankfully Claude Lemieux got his, a la Darren McCarty. Hence why I rock the Darren McCarty jersey to this day.
Well, Cooch shared this with us. A study analyzed posts and reactions from more than a dozen sports to determine which one had the angriest fans on Twitter. Surprisingly, it's one of the calmest sports.
Yes.
Golf.
It's crazy, man.
And by the way, angry fans on Twitter, I mean, like, angry everything on Twitter, okay?
Yeah. But are you surprised with golf, though? Because think about it.
That is surprising to me. I don't understand what the context of this was in. But
there's not a lot of fantasy golf. There is some betting in golf. But I feel like the outrage and like the real expletive laden tweets revolve around like players leaving a franchise, players like not succeeding in fantasy football. Like I would put football all day over golf.
But even like,
well, here's the thing though, man. Football allows you an outlet. You've got somewhere to complain. You've got something to get excited about. You got the big plays and the big moments. Golf's got a whole lot of calm maintenance.
Yeah, it's
and all that is
is
just a slow burn, man.
Yeah,
that's a heavy pressure cooker waiting to explode.
But what, like, even in NASCAR, I feel like people like had to have. Like, if you like Jeff Gordon, like you love Jeff Gordon and you hated other drivers.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Well, I know Phil and Tiger were like rivals, and like a lot of people wanted to see Tiger win, and Tiger won a lot. So how angry could you get over that? But if you're like a Rory McIlroy fan, like who do you hate? Like, do you hate Dustin Johnson? So, like, if Dustin Johnson, like, makes a putt and Rory doesn't, you get angry? Like, it's a weird thing. Like, I don't see it. I don't find it. Now, this one I do. Soccer is 28% second.
Of course.
That one I would would see.
It's hard for us to comprehend it in the United States.
Yeah, but I see the activity. Like,
sure.
Even from people that I follow that are soccer fans.
Oh, yeah.
Like worldwide soccer fans. They get angry at the soccer stuff on Saturdays.
For sure. I always relate it to this. I forgot what year it was, but two countries were going against each other, and they're actually at war at the time. They stopped, they signed a treaty and called off the war while the soccer teams played each other. And then when the soccer game was over, back at it.
Wow.
Like, what other? I got to look that up because I saw it on the Brian Gumbel show.
Okay, Real Sports.
Yeah, Real Sports.
That'd be a good Real Sports topic.
Yeah.
MLB, 26%. NFL comes in fourth. Boxing, okay. I get it. I just don't know how many people are that passionate about it. But NHL, Formula One, and competitive darts are tied at sixth.
I'm done. Hey, Brent.
Weber. Are you listening down there in the sports office? Weber gets mad at the darts.
I'm out.
You know, Weber, on our trip to see Trevor Lawrence's hometown and Urban's hometown, he gave me like play-by-play of darts. Like, I had more dart interaction than ever before. I was mad at him.
Listen, Kuz sent you this?
Yeah.
I'm going to need to see some citations here of where this came from, because you mean to tell me Stanley Cup playoffs in Canada, in the States, and even in Europe, in Sweden and countries like that, you mean to tell me they're just as nuts as dart fans?
Oh, look at this. Golf is number one among tweets with a, quote, wow reaction. 11% of golf tweets are classified that way. It's tied with cycling. Maybe after crashes. Competitive darts is next at 9% with the wow factor.
I'm done. When's the last time you were on Twitter and you saw anything darts trending?
Never.
Okay, then.
Never.
Okay, then.
Speaking of upset fans, NBA fans share the most sad tweets. 38% are categorized that way. Sad. Like, why? And the sport with the happiest fans, that would be boxing. 37% of boxing tweets are happy. Soccer is next, 31, followed by golf at 23. So golf is either angry or
it's some bipolar individuals there.
The
man,
fan sharing
golf.
the most love tweets, heart-eyed emoji style, is a tie between the NHL and cricket. 58% of the tweets from those sports are all love.
Whatever, man.
Where does curling fall in this list?
I can't believe this be wrestling talk. I'm going to be honest with you.
Where does Kuz come
ridiculous.
up with this stuff? Where does he find this stuff? And why don't we just start a polling station? Whoever ever checks? Like, whoever checks the polling? Who would go back and do this?
Dude, do you want to hear something crazy, too? We talked about this on the morning show today.
You talk about this topic?
Yes.
Did you really?
I swear. It was
and here we are again.
It's like big news, I guess, and entertainment.
Henry the Hornet
making a move. He ain't having it either. He ain't believing these numbers.
By the way, you saved Henry the Hornet's life.
I did, man.
Earlier today.
Yeah. Yeah. He ain't bothering anybody. Let him live.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah. But, yeah, we talked about it as well. But, like, I was quizzed. I know the article, so I was quizzed of what did I think the top sport was. And obviously I said football. Soccer was next. Golf was not even close to being on my radar as the worst sport.
I know. I don't know
what are we talking about?
Daniel, by the way, says on YouTube, sure, just skip over the masterful musings on Minshew, Brent and Austin. I saw some of the Minshew stuff. I just didn't get to it. Sorry, man.
Well, what happened? I guess I missed it.
Well, some of the comments about Minshew. I have to go way back. They're so deep down here.
Brent, you went to his hometown. A little more respect for Gardner Minshew, please.
Let's see. It said I would keep Luton too, both on cheap. I think Daniel was talking about keeping Minshew on as a backup, which I don't disagree with. Like I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to be here. I think why not?
Yeah.
So
now you've also campaigned for Alex Smith a little bit.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if I've campaigned. I think I can see the logic in it.
Yeah.
I could see Urban Meyer. You got to try to think like they do. I don't know how they feel about Minshew, but I would suspect they'd feel pretty good about a guy like Alex Smith.
So we had a question on Friday that was pointed towards you, and I said that next week we would talk about it then. Somebody on the stream wanted to know, what is Brent Martineau's infatuation with Patrick Surtain? That was the question on the chat. He goes, hey, Austin, can you explain? And I'm like, I'm going to let Brent answer himself.
I'll do that when we come back. Let me think about
That's a tease.
We'll do that when we come back. I think he's going to be maybe one of the studs of the first round.
Yeah, you do.
Cornerback out of Alabama. We'll do that. And Shaq makes an appearance in the ring and breaks a table. Was it a success? We discuss on ESPN 690
Spoiler alert.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
Happy Thursday. I'm Jake Mitchell. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp have announced that after delays, the beginning of their season will finally begin on May 4th at 1-1 Financial Ballpark. As you may know, this is their first season as the AAA affiliate of the Miami Marlins. In the NFL, former All-Pro linebacker Thomas Davis announced that he'll sign a one-day deal with the Panthers before retiring. Davis has been in the league for 16 years. He was released by Washington on Wednesday, and he wants to finish his career with the team that drafted him. In the fight game, the UFC has released two of its top names in their heavyweight division. Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem were both released from their contracts with fights remaining. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal made his AEW wrestling debut last night. AEW is the wrestling promotion owned right here in Jacksonville. Unfortunately, Shaquille O'Neal didn't fare so well. He was put through a table. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
J.J. Watt, interesting choice. Imagine the conversation we're having today if he signed in Green Bay. Instead, he goes to Arizona, signs to play in the best division in football. Are they the fourth best team in that division? Could be. He went to the place that had the salary cap space to afford him. And again, that's not a criticism. It's just a simple statement of fact.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. And watch exclusively on ESPN+.
They just don't make them like they used to. People say that a lot, and sometimes it's true. But not for air conditioners. Manufacturers actually make them better than they used to. It's just that local AC companies don't install them like they ought to. Old school rules of thumb and yesterday's shortcuts simply sabotage new school systems. Can new technology give you more comfort with longer service life? Only if the AC tech knows how to properly engineer it for your home and how to install it right. So techs that don't understand inverters, low voltage controls, and how to configure the software, dip switches, and refrigerant charge for Florida humidity, they'll totally turn it into turd buckets, especially if they just do a swap the box install without fixing your ductwork and airflow. My point, the better the technology, the more important the install. At Griffith Service, we fix what others can't, but it's best to have us install it right from the beginning. So if your new system ain't working right or your old one needs replacing, call
GriffinService.com.
1250-697.
Shred your goals this year with the new Metabolism Boost Banana Passion Fruit Smoothie from Smoothie King. At only 240 calories and 14 grams of protein per 20 ounces, this crave-controlling meal smoothie has non-GMO whole fruits, naturally derived caffeine, and absolutely no syrups. Or try strawberry pineapple or mango ginger. Start your healthier habit and order online at smoothieking.com. Now for pickup or delivery at any of the Jacksonville area locations. Smoothie King, rule the day.
In Florida, it's not if the storms are coming, it's when the storms are coming. And that's why you need the Chief. Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish, with a proven track record of keeping local families safe. Rain, heat, hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes. We get it all. Just more reasons why you need the Chief. Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, backed by the First Alert Weather Team. Only on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
CGC Water has been telling you if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Still not a believer? Well, you can believe me. My family has been a happy CGC Water customer for 4 years now. Customer service is tremendous. We got our water tested. We were told about our options and financing in detail. No pressure, just information. Installation was quick, and the CGC team was there every step of the way. And we absolutely love it. Because it works. Heck, I even think my coffee tastes better because of it. And I love my coffee. A Kinetico system from CGC Water removes up to 99% of contaminants. That's clean. Schedule your free water test today and ask how you can save up to $500. CGC is still taking extra precautions with in-home visits and continuing to follow CDC guidelines. Financing available with approved credit. Call 904-552-1242 for details or visit cgcwater.com. Serving Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. CGC Water Treatment, your local independent Kinetico dealer.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
The March to Get Screened 5K, sponsored by the Borland Groover Foundation, is coming up March 28th. It's Rich Jones. Join me to raise funds for colon cancer awareness, life-saving screenings, and more. Check it all out at marchtogetscreened.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Big swing and a miss, and Cody with the poke of the eyes. Now Cody on the top. Oh my God in heaven! Good God Almighty! The tables are everywhere. People are shattered. It's incredible. This crowd's going wild. Holy hell!
Tony, you love it.
I wonder if they cut the Dudley Boys checks for this in royalties.
Right. Now, listen, JR, one of the best to ever do it. But why you don't go the tables have turned is beyond me, because it was a big momentum switch right there when Cody took him to the table. Just saying.
So that was Shaq last night.
Yeah.
AEW. How I heard you. I wasn't here for the last segment, but I was listening on the way out.
Yep.
And yesterday you said this could go really well for AEW, or it could sometimes blow up and be a negative
It
thing.
can feel like too much of a gimmick.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the jury?
Well,
say?
I mean, in my opinion, I think a lot of wrestling fans share my opinion here. I thought it was a home run. I thought you did the perfect job of showcasing Cody Rhodes and not because so it was a tag team match, right?
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill, who actually played basketball here at JU. She was a basketball player, and now she's a professional wrestler.
Huh.
By the way.
Sounds like a story.
There's a fun fact. And then you got Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. And Jade and Shaq ended up winning. But, like, the way that they won, I mean, it was more of the female aspect of, that was the finish. The finish for the men was Cody Rhodes putting Shaq through 2 tables. And, like, that was the finish. So, like, it did a great job of showcasing, Shaq's strengths, which is obviously is his strength, is his size. Cody did a great job of selling all that stuff. And then the women did a great job of finishing the matchup. So I thought it was a home run. They didn't make Shaq do anything that he couldn't do. They played to his strengths, and I think the ratings prove it here, Brent. AEW last night brought in 934,000, live what'd you call it, just live fans, I guess, watching the show. And NXT, who they're in direct competition with the WWE, only brought in 692,000. And there's actually rumors right now out of WWE that they actually might switch NXT to Tuesday night and let AEW have Wednesday night.
Wow. How about that?
That's just a rumor, though.
Do you know how long it's been since Vince McMahon lost a TV wrestling war?
Let's be honest, man. He doesn't like to lose either.
It's been a long time.
Yep.
So what does this mean for Shaq? So if it's well received, it did a good job. It may even be a nice momentum shifter in the whole pantheon of wrestling in that battle, that war that you're talking TV-wise. Does he do it again? Is he more a part of it on a regular basis? Does he want to do that? Did they want to do that? Is this?
Yeah, it depends really on the schedule, right? Because Shaq still does the NBA and TNT. So, schedule permitting, but the way that they left Shaq, they left it open-ended because they put him in the ambulance.
Or did they?
Well, Tony Schiavone goes to interview Shaq from the ambulance, and all of a sudden Shaq's gone, and he's nowhere to be seen. So they left it open-ended. Could we see Shaq maybe this Sunday on the pay-per-view? Possibly. But I think we're going to see more of Shaquille O'Neal for sure.
I saw – give me the inside wrestling, okay?
Okay.
Because I see that on Twitter.
Okay.
The stunt, if you will, the move.
Yes.
And like I said, we were talking about, are they pro athletes? The guy just went through a table, and he weighs like 300 pounds, and he's 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot. But then did you see his hand kind of tap him?
Oh, yeah. He's telling Cody that he's okay.
So that just means he's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The camera guy was a little too close for that.
Well, I think that was more director. Director didn't cut away quick enough.
No, for sure. And listen, I mean, I'm not sure how many bumps like that Shaq has ever taken. I'm sure they walked through it maybe once, not with tables, but just from that distance. But I mean, that's a scary thing.
But as I think about it, that might actually have been an intentional shot so that his agent didn't just have a heart attack right there.
That's very possible.
Yeah, you don't know how that's going to feel.
No, and the last thing you want is Shaquille O'Neal to get hurt on national television, on live national television. So yeah, he's just letting Cody know that he's okay.
Why, between wrestling and Buffalo Bills fans, why are tables going through tables such a thing and why don't you get hurt more? You think you'd get hurt going through tables.
So truth be told,
now the Bills fans do, but they're hammered.
Well, and they're also like legit tables. Like, not to take anything away from wrestling tables.
I know,
there's a little more give to them.
A little breakaway kind of thing.
But at the same time, they actually helped Shaq there because that's why there was 2 tables. Because you think about it, if you fall through one table, some of your momentum's getting taken away, but your body's still falling at a very fast rate. 2 tables obviously takes more momentum away, and from a guy that weighs almost 400 pounds, you need as much momentum taken away as possible. So that's why they use 2 tables.
All right. I get it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Good for Shaq. Listen, it's got me talking about it.
That's
exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
There you go.
Right?
That's the most important thing. Absolutely. The casual wrestling fan like Brent Martin.
Okay, so I answered the question last week. Why am I infatuated with Patrick Surtain?
Yeah.
I understand he didn't play well against Florida. Everybody keeps telling me that. I love what the Jags had, okay, with Jalen Ramsey is a guy that was huge.
Yeah.
Long.
Yep.
Can be physical, super athletic. 6'2", 202, and the length that I see, at least when I watch Surtain on the field. Now, I don't know if the measurables will add up to that, but what my eyes say, I think he has some of those kind of traits. I think that's some of the stuff you can't teach. I think also you're probably getting taught a hell of a lot at Alabama to play pretty well. I know not every guy that comes out of Alabama is great. I get that. But I think some of that adds up to be very good. And I'm telling you, listen, we're all in the predicting business when it comes to this. I think he is going to be a really good NFL player.
Yeah.
So, but I love the length that he has, probably above everything else.
No, I mean, corners can come in all shape and sizes. When you got guys like Jalen Ramsey, I'm reminded like Richard Sherman too. He's got that long, lean frame. Yeah, Surtain definitely fits that mold.
No doubt. All right, hey, we'll do it again tomorrow. Make sure you check out Live Local Loud coming up next on ESPN 690. Scott, good to have you in, man.
Appreciate it, fellas. See you soon.
All right, we'll see you on TV as well tonight. CBS 47, Fox 30. I should have my kid tell you about Jumpin' Jack's House of Food. It's Ty's favorite burger in town. Make it one of your favorites as well. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food has 3 locations now: Atlantic Beach, Mandarin, and downtown Jacksonville. Change your life burgers. But they have salads, pizza, and much more on the menu, too. Let Jumpin' Jack's House of Food be your great neighbor. Lunch or dinner with the family, or they will cater parties from 200 to 500 people. Jumpin' Jack's, HOF.com for online ordering. Jumpin' Jack's House of Food, open 7 days a week.
Got a business trip, long weekend, or maybe you just really want to try that new Toyota before you buy it? Then get it all when you rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. With easy online reservations and rental rates as low as $19.95 a day, there's nothing stopping you from hitting the open road. You can even rent 2021 models. Rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Try it before you buy it and reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Would you like to be the man you used to be? Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. 98% of their patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Listen to Dr. Brown, a specialist in men's health.
Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications for ED or PE designed just for you. There's no pain or surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, not a problem. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And it's affordable.
Contact Prime Men's Medical Center to schedule a private consultation. 904-664-8217. You'll see results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
It's been 6 months since my wife leased her new Cadillac from Fields Auto Group, and she absolutely loves it. It's our first experience with Fields, and it's been terrific. They say you can step up to luxury for less, and we did. Not just a luxury Cadillac XT6. The car is beautiful, but the customer service is extra